My ex cheated on me twice and said I was the bad guy. And what should I do now? This is OKOP, home of the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Riley. John, what should they do?
Dude, leave. I don't care. Like, especially, this is the okay fam we're talking about. Like, I would be like, save your energy and peace out with the person. Unless you can get some fun banger revenge. We do love some fun petty revenge. So if you can squeeze that in there, why not? But big picture, go live your life,
Yeah, they should have waited for a third time.
No, leave the relationship and just move on. That's big picture.
That's great advice. So RS Handsome says from the OKOP subreddit. Woo! Wait, you already.
That's okay. We can say it again.
Yeah, go to the subreddit, write your crazy stories.
Do it.
I will read them all.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for any typos that may have occurred. English is a second language. All right. We are down. We will read this as if it was your first language.
Yep.
Okay. So once upon a time, I met a girl. We'll call her Joy because it's ironic. Love that. We met at summer vacation's end and had a classic Grease relationship. Aw, the summer ended. Cute. Have you ever seen Grease?
Yeah, I know the premise.
Okay, great. I had to travel back to the city where I was studying 5.5 hours away by bus or 30 minutes by plane. Dang. On a bus.
Pretty good.
A bit about Joy. She's bisexual and has social anxiety.
Hell yeah.
Or so she told me. Oh, so she lied about.
Oh, snap.
Wait, which one do you think she lied about? Bisexual or social anxiety? Pick one.
Social anxiety.
Okay. I'll pick bisexual. Both relevant in the story later. Our first discussion was around Christmas times when I expressed discomfort with her joking around about making out with her female friends because of my previous girlfriend was cheating on me. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because she is bisexual and that would be cheating. Wait, if your girlfriend kissed another girl, would you consider that cheating? It was just a
Me? I don't know. I don't care.
Okay. What if she was making out with other girls? Is that cheating?
Well, oh man.
Okay. I don't think it was an answer. That's okay. Oh, it's cheating to me if you're making out, but a little peck.
I think it's like if someone's trying to like steal them away and other things, like, there's some things like, oh, okay, that's cool. But
that's cool.
I don't know why it's a little different.
It is a little different.
Yeah. True.
I said something back there, but anyways, she argued that she'd think it was okay since she was okay with me making out with my male friends. Do you make out with your male friends? That is not the same.
Just because me and Riley kiss passionately does not mean that this is okay.
Yeah. Naima, you should not kiss other girls if we're doing this. Yeah. Okay. I called her out on the flaw in her logic here and said that is no way a good metaphor. I'm not capable to catch romantic or sexual feelings towards a dude, but she by no means was okay with me making out with one of my female friends. So that topic was dropped. Red flag number 1.
Yeah. I mean, bottom line, OP is not okay with it.
Yeah.
Wow. OP is not okay with it.
Whoa. We're going to start saying that from now on.
Yeah, right. OP is not okay with that. Yeah, we really should do that.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it like, if OP is like, then okay, fine. But the girlfriend doesn't get to dictate that.
Yeah.
OP does.
I'm okay if you make out with your male friends. I should be able to make out with mine.
Like, he's like, I'm straight. Like, that's not what I want to do.
And it's not the same because I don't think he is bisexual. I'm not getting bisexual vibes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he was saying, that he's not bisexual. And also he's like, I don't want to cheat on you.
Yeah.
Like, in what I am defining in our relationship as cheating, and I don't want you to.
But you as a girl is attracted to the other specimen or same specimen.
Yeah, same specimen.
Oh my God, I sound like an incel. I'm not trying to. I just like using synonym words, but I can only say woman and girl, and I'm restricted to those two things.
Yeah, Riley can't say female. It's been banned. Only thing he could do is like 23 female. That's it. That's the only time he can say it.
That's true.
It's the only time.
Our relationship continued on to be great for a while after that, but then spring hit. The week before I was going to travel to my girlfriend's, she called me and said that she kissed another guy, but it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault though.
I just slipped in.
Mwah.
Oh my good golly goobers. I'm so sorry I slipped on that banana over there and no.
It wasn't her fault.
No.
She said she'd been out drinking the night before and said that while they were leaving, one of her male friends who was holding her jacket said she wouldn't get her jacket back unless she kissed him.
No.
She kissed him and got the jacket back and left. But she left immediately after. She kissed him, got the jacket, left. My question, was it cold? Was it cold outside? Did you need this jacket?
You know what? Shut that down real quick. Maybe you could try not sexually assaulting me and give me my jacket.
Yo.
What are you going to do?
That's a really good point too.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. No one should be sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
I already told him the story.
What? I don't know what
about
story.
The butt thing when I told him about it.
Oh. Yeah, dude. Someone was fondling. I was right there too.
You saw it happen.
I didn't quite fully see it happen, but I saw her pass Riley. And also
he has an okay story time about this person.
Okay story time at the end.
He has an okay story time
at the end.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Whilst explaining this, she brought her sister onto the call who vouched for her story, and I had to tell her sister, please lower the volume so I can speak to my girlfriend alone. Interesting. Red flag 2 in hindsight. So she brought in another person to manipulate the situation.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree, OP. And honestly, the fact that there's been all of these red flags, like enough red flags to leave.
All right. But they made amends. They were good for a while until summer vacation. I love that each season brings up another conflict here.
A new red flag as the flowers of men in spring.
She then got a part-time job in a grocery store, and one of her female colleagues were friendly with Joy. Maybe a little too friendly. On a company party midway through the vacation, the colleague, from now on LB for lesbian biatch, had said that she had a crush on Joy in front of her other work friends who had told her jokingly to calm her pants down. Interesting. I love that.
Right. They're being like, yo, don't cheat on your mans.
Yeah. Calm your pants down. Calm your pants down. Sam, calm your pants down.
Always could use that.
Oh, yeah.
Always could use that one.
Joy's spoken for. Joy told me this afterwards, to which I responded, I don't want you to hang out with her outside of work. That makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. A couple weeks later, Joy was going to a party with her work friends and asked, with who? She paused and said, no one you know about. Do you see where this is going? Dude, he called an I see you.
Dude, put an I see you.
Yes! He called it.
Let's go.
Yes.
But I see you in the comments if you know it's about to go down.
Her response made me really uncomfortable, but I had told her how I felt about LB and hoped that she would respect what I had previously asked her.
Yes.
Not hanging out with LB just to refresh your minds.
Yes.
But yeah, she pre-gamed with LB, sent out to a nightclub with LB, and then to an after party with LB.
Oh my.
She called me somewhere during the night and told me that she had been hanging out with LB all night and said, don't worry, cause refrain was good. No, because nothing was gonna happen between them, which was comforting my stress, not at all since she was slurring.
Right. It's like that's not helping at all. You're drunk at an after party.
She was slurring. Oh, that's what she said. Your life was gonna happen,
baby. It's fine. We're not gonna do it. Oh my God, stop tickling me. We're gonna be fine. No.
Yikes.
No.
The day after, I called and asked how her night went, and she told me nothing had happened, but after some prying, they told me they made out, and after more prying, hand stuff and making out happened. Yikes, not the hand stuff.
OP.
Yep.
Leave.
Get out of here.
Run.
Get out of here, man.
Run, Forrest, run.
Okay, this was great. Since I had purchased her Xmas Christmas, yeah, I was early on that one. Wait, this is summer vacation. Wait, so I'm guessing this is like maybe August. Oh, the time being August. Yeah. I said we should break up, but she didn't want to do it over the phone. So we stayed in a relationship from the end of August to December without exchanging any sort of communication. No.
I've got a quick story time after this. It's gonna be really bad. It's really bad.
No, this is horrible. Oh my gosh. Why?
What's that?
People break up over letters in the past, right?
Dude. Yeah, that's a good question.
They've had to. Okay. There is a small twist though. In the end of November, I was still really heartbroken. I met a girl from my roommate's university class. We hit off immediately. She made out. She made me not depressed anymore about the breakup I was going through, and we chatted every day and night. Felt kind of guilty about the feelings I had since I had not officially had left the relationship.
So
and
dumb.
Joy still wanted to talk in person. Dude, Joy is out there with LB
Joy just
all up in there.
Dude, screw Joy.
Dude.
Like she's screwing LB, okay?
Yeah, you don't feel bad, OP. You're good. But I didn't want to leave with without telling the new girl, Lizzie, forth on how I felt. So 2 days before I left for home and the talk, I invited Lizzie out for a drink. She knew I was technically in a relationship and that we have been going through a rough patch. Okay, so he communicated that and that he was interested, but he didn't need to be drug on for like 4 months.
Yeah, this is so dumb.
Yeah, I told her where everything stood between me and Joy. I had feelings for her, and if she wanted to explore a relationship with me after I'd officially broken up with Joy, I would love to do so. I waited for a while for her response. She kissed me and said, "That's all you're getting until you are a single man," and winked at me.
I mean, like, the only dumb thing is, like, I feel like I love how OP was like, hey, I'm going to break down everything that's happened. I shouldn't get together with you until this point, but wait until the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Go to your current quote unquote girlfriend and be like, listen, I will explain everything. I'm happy to do that. I cannot wait for you. No, that's not how this works. You don't get to hold me hostage for months and not let me move on with my life when you kept cheating on me after I told you that I don't approve of it and that it doesn't make me feel good, and this is not what I want in this relationship.
Yeah, no, this is not good. Can you pull the story up on your phone? There's a little script.
Oh,
that OP
here we go. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Fast forward 2 days to the talk with Joy. Summarize into a few lines. Oh, do you want to be Joy or?
I'll be Joy. I'll be Joy.
Okay.
Yeah. She started with saying that I don't think this is working out like we thought.
OP. Yeah, me neither.
Joy. To you, I always cheated. Even when I was just making out with my friends. You're such a bad guy judging something just because you're not used to it. All girls our age make out with their friends. What the fuck? Shut up. Okay, go ahead.
OP. Yeah, no, that didn't help either. I don't see how you can't come visit me 5 hours away by bus, but you have no problem with drinking and going out partying and cheating on me. Anxiety, my sweet behind, might be censoring here. Oh,
like anxiety, my sweet behind.
With that. Oh, because she had social anxiety. Yeah. She just didn't want to confront or own up to her BS.
So that's what she was lying about.
That's okay. That makes sense.
Ooh,
you were right.
Yay.
I was wrong about the bisexual.
Yeah, very, very, very wrong.
Okay. Anxiety, my sweet behind. With that comment, I left her place and her Christmas present with her. Oh, that's so sweet. I had bought it for her, and that's where it was staying. Okay, so he left the Christmas present and told her, all those things. Epilogue, all this happened nearly 5 years ago, and now in 2024, I have a daughter with Lizzie, and me and Lizzie are getting married in 9 months. Yay! This entertained y'all. Dude, OP!
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh! Lizzie's a real one. Let's go.
Oh my goodness gracious.
That was crazy.
RS handsome, dude.
Dude, you get after it, man.
Congratulations. Good for you for leaving that BS relationship. And dude, he was so overly respectful in a way that the cheating ex did not deserve. Like, oh, that's like something you do if you're divorcing, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But you can still be like separated and waiting to be divorced on paper. But a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship.
Dude, you had every right to leave earlier. And I don't know how old you were in this, but I know this happened 5 years ago. You're probably pretty young.
Yeah. Like, I could see early 20s, maybe like
I could see this happen to me at like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Within that age range. So that's probably where you were at. But dude, I'm so happy for you. You and Lizzie. I really would love to see like how that. I wish I could follow you guys on Facebook.
Wow.
I could keep up. That'd be cool.
Keep throwing in stories. OP. This was, or RS Handsome, I should say. This is great. And hopefully you enjoyed it being on the show. We want more of your stories. Like,
we love this.
This is awesome.
Dang. You got anything else?
Okay, story time.
Oh,
super brief context.
Oh, yes. Okay, so you guys remember the girl that like touched my butt, and whenever I talked with Sophia in that episode like a few days ago, he gave that girl a ride to the club and explained what happened there.
So me and my girlfriend were walking out of this house party, and then her and like two of her friends or whatever, and it was funny because she was actually one that was like, hey, can we get a ride with you?
That is true. I did make that happen because I was trying to get a girl that Sam was interested in to get a ride with us, and then I was like, oh, they also have rides. That was my fault.
That's okay. I don't care. I was like, and then I mean, my girlfriend was like, oh yeah, let's do it. She's down, whatever. So I was like, cool, let's do it. So we all get in. So it's me, my girlfriend, and then these three other random chicks I've never talked to in my whole life.
One was cool.
Two of them were cool.
Well,
yeah,
one was really cool.
Who, Riley? So this person literally kept like the first instance was it was this like weird long like kind of cul-de-sac where you're kind of trapped, and she's like, so it's a cul-de-sac, you have to turn around. Let's turn around. And then she just kept making comments throughout the night like, oh, are we going the right way? I think you're doing it wrong. You should do it. Can you and then she was like, have you had drinks tonight? I guess you like to drive drunk. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, how about you? And she made that comment multiple times, got us there safe and sound, as you could see, and just like kept making comment after comment. The final one was we pulled up to the venue, and there's multiple, it's kind of tricky. It's like downtown Santa Monica, hard to pull up to the spot, right? So I guess there was a more advantageous place to pull up, but I would have had to like circle the whole block to get back to the more advantageous place. And I still parked it like it was still pretty close.
Yeah. It also was raining that night. Yeah.
It was raining, but I was pretty close. And then so she's like, so this is the wrong spot. So you're going to have to go around and do this. And then her friends at that point were like, oh no, this is good. Hey, thank you so much for the ride. Da, 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 da. And then they got out, and I was like, yo, this chick is crazy. And then one of the women who I super respected came up to me later and was like, hey, I just want to apologize on behalf of my friend. Like, that wasn't cool. I super appreciated you and your girlfriend like giving us a drive. That was nice of you. I'm like, you know what? Respect. Thank you for that. And then that chick freaking just scooped Riley's butt cheek in her hand. Hello.
What up with that?
That's my okay story time.
Yeah, she was pretty bad.
My wife keeps ruining our date nights. Does she want to divorce me?
She should.
It's over. My wife and I have a great relationship. Last night, however, I learned from my wife that she has been on a spicy sleep strike for most of the last month due to some comments I made on our last date night. You just figured that out?
Man's not
from
getting
last
it.
month.
He's
he was
not
like,
getting it. He's just like, this is normal. I've accepted it.
By the way, this comes from TA031544 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, as background, I arrange a nice date night each month for just the two of us. I plan a dinner somewhere nice, arrange a babysitter, feed our 3 kids dinner, and otherwise handle all of the logistics so that all she has to do is show up. That's sweet. I like that. Typically, we'll grab drinks somewhere after dinner, often meeting up with friends. Earlier this month, I planned an evening out and we had a fantastic dinner together. After dinner, we met up with a couple we are friends with. However, the wife was tired and wanted to go to bed, so only her husband ended up joining us. Around 11:45, we had to leave to relieve our babysitter. My wife was having fun and didn't want the evening to end, so she invited our friend over for another drink. I told her I was fine with that, but that I was hoping to be in bed by 1 a.m. As background, I do the morning shift with our 3 kids every day and they get up early. My wife promised that we'd be in bed by then. But when did they get back? They got back at like 11:45? Okay, so she was like, it's just gonna be like an hour.
1.
That's pretty close to 1.
You got to get your wind down thing.
Yeah, and then you have to brush your teeth and,
for like
get ready
10
for
minutes.
bed. It takes a while.
Gotta sing show tunes in the shower.
You simply must.
You have to.
Our friend comes over, we open a bottle of wine, put on some music, and we're all having a good time. Ow. 1 comes around and he gets up to go, but my wife tells us we can't leave as she's vibing. I stick around for another 10 minutes or so and then decide to call it. My wife tells me she'll be up in another 10 minutes. I get ready for bed, which takes about that long, and don't hear her coming, so I go to bed. Around 3 a.m., I get woken up by her coming into our bedroom. She was wasted at this point and made a lot of noise. She was downstairs with that guy until 3 a.m.?
And remind me of the relation with her and that guy.
They're friends, and he's married, but the other wife couldn't come.
Suspicious!
Little suspicious! I also think I don't know, maybe this is just their vibe, but I feel like if you're going to have a date night, that should be like you and your wife.
Not if you want your wife's boyfriend to be vibing on that date more.
She had a vibe.
There was a vibe.
I'm now wide awake, and if that happens, it usually takes me a while to go back to sleep. In this case, around 5. Which
he's not even worried about like them spending all that time together, drunk and stealing the date. Yeah, it's like I'm not mad. I'm just mad that I took so long to get back to sleep.
He's like, she woke me up, and that's the real problem.
That's the real issue. You know,
I get
she
that.
wants to vibe with some guy who's married or not. Who knows? Who knows these days? Who's to say?
No, Sam woke me up at 3 a.m. the other day when you came home with Dad after your lobster fishing, and it took took me
lobster
forever to get
fishing.
back to sleep.
We were relatively quiet.
Yeah,
we didn't
you
play
stopped
piano.
at 8.
Sophia
Anyways.
wakes up the whole house playing piano
I woke
every
up one
morning.
person. It was my dad. In this case, around 5, which was fun when the kids woke up at 6:30. Anyways, at this point, since I'm awake, I try to initiate spicy sleep with my wife. At
Since
5?
I'm awake.
Wait, at 3? At 3?
At
When
3
did
a.m.
you try to initiate?
when she's getting into bed.
When she's getting into bed, you were like, well, I'm freaking up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my man downstairs did all of the work vibing.
you have a vibe.
I get the benefits, right?
Who declines and says that she's too tired, which, I mean, yeah, it's like
She
3
did.
in the morning.
I mean, it takes a lot of energy to vibe with this married man downstairs.
I don't pressure her, and she immediately falls asleep. However, I can't sleep now due to being woken up and sit there and stew for a few hours. Mostly frustrated at being woken up, but also annoyed at how the evening went overall. My first mistake was sending her a text while she was asleep, saying that her actions that evening were hurtful and that it felt like I planned this nice evening only for her to end up spending the later part of it with someone else. And not like that, I'm 100% confident they were just listening to music and chatting.
Wait. She's mad at him?
He's mad at her.
Oh, he's mad at her.
He sent her a text. So he's in bed next to her and he sends her a text while she's sleeping.
Okay, that's why I was a little confused. I guess
He's
he doesn't want to wake her, you know?
Like, I'm really upset that the evening didn't go the way I planned. Just next time, don't invite a friend to hang out. If you're on a date night, just leave it as a date night.
Yeah.
I think that's
especially someone more charismatic than you.
Yeah, someone who's more attractive
someone
than you.
who just wants to vibe with your wife more than you.
That's your first mistake. The next morning, she came downstairs apologetic. However, I made the mistake of mentioning that her actions made me not really want to plan these extravagant date nights anymore, as she had broken her promise about going to bed at a reasonable hour and then ruined my sleep. Not the first time this has happened on a date night. Then, and this is where I may be the a-hole, I added that this was at least the 4th date night in a row where the night had ended with us not having spicy sleep, and that in my mind, a good date night ends in spicy sleep. I also added that this one was particularly offensive because it felt like she abandoned me at the end of the night. These comments really upset her, and she said they made her feel like I only appreciate her for spicy sleep. I feel like he could have approached the conversation a little bit better of a way.
But really quick,
Yeah.
he's the one that invited this friend
It's
to the
seemingly.
date?
Seemingly.
Are we sure about that?
Well, I think maybe she might have suggested it, but it seems like it's pretty common for them to hang out with friends after they get dinner. And then it just so happened that this friend, the wife, wasn't able to make it, so it was just the husband.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
supposed to. It was supposed to be
both of them.
like a double date.
Yes, yeah.
But it ended up just that guy and his wife
On
date.
a date, and OP was in bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
She added that date night should be about having fun and enjoying her company, and that I shouldn't be about me not having spicy sleep on date nights. Honestly, I have some sympathy for her perspective about enjoying each other's company being the most important part of a date night, but I also don't think it's unreasonable to feel a little let down after planning a romantic evening, especially since it had become a pattern, and particularly when she effectively chose to do something else rather than have spicy sleep with me. So, Reddit, what do we think? Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments and an update. But what do you think?
I think if you want the best shot of this date night going well, maybe just have it be the two of you.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to, you don't have to include multiple parties into the date night. It can just be you and your wife, and you get dinner, and then you go home at a reasonable hour.
Yeah.
And then everyone's
And
happy.
then maybe you vibed enough with your
Yeah.
wife one-on-one that she might be interested in some spicy time.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to like catch a vibe when there's 3 people with,
Yeah.
you know?
And also, it's like,
It's a vibe
it's also
blocker.
hard to catch a vibe where it's like, all right, she's just been vibing with this guy
Yeah.
downstairs, and then suddenly there's this other guy in her bed that she hasn't been vibing with all night.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's like
she's
5
not-
in the morning, and he's kind of pissed and sleepy, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, let's do it now." And she's like,
I got-
"It's 3 in the morning."
Yeah, I'm drunk. It's 3 in the
Yeah.
morning. We haven't been talking. Where's the ramp up period for me? Like,
Yeah.
I need some tender
That's what
love
I'm
and
saying.
care.
No, I think
that point.
I think that they can still have their friend night, but maybe that's a different night. Maybe once a month is date night just for you guys, and then once a month is friend night.
And OP, I'm pure. It seems like you're a little mad or you're a little disappointed that things didn't end the way you wanted them to. And if you want that, all you gotta do, just one-on-one time, vibe with your wife. Don't let her vibe with other people. I mean, she should still be vibing with other people, but not on your date night.
Not on your date night.
Not on your date night if you want to get lucky at the end.
No, but there are some comments. Pebbles 197053 says, I think you should stop meeting up with friends for drinks after dinner. If it's a date night, it should be about just the two of you. Serenity Meow says, this is the way. Why is date night with other people? Everyone's on board with this. The Amber Drake says, it's odd that the friend abandoned his sick wife in order to spend time with OP and his wife. Doubly odd that once OP went to bed, the friend stuck around for hours of wasted one-on-one time with OP's wife instead of going home to his sick wife. Very peculiar.
Did OP try to get... Oh, he did try to get his wife to hey, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, and she was like, no, we're vibing. And then he was like, okay. And she was like, I'll be up in 10 minutes. And then she never came on.
I think that's a little whack on her part.
I agree. I think that,
I think that's a little whack on her part as well. If they both should be prioritizing date night. I mean, again, fertile ground not being set for the optimum date night, like we've said, but I think that's a little whack on her part to not come up.
I think so. Neutral Party says, don't forget, OP specifically mentioned that his wife gets corny when wasted. Put 2 and 2 together. And Judgment, not the a-hole. And there is an update 1 month later.
I read ahead. I'm sorry. I read ahead.
I feel like we already talked about it. Reddit was right. They were having an affair.
No.
She was vibing too hard.
They vibed too hard.
Oh, man.
I mean, they were I feel like, I honestly.
They were vibing. I
did not see that coming.
I kind of saw it coming, but I was like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because OP was like, no, guys. I know my wife. She 100% was not having an affair.
Oh.
You were wrong, OP. You were
wrong. It's always
wrong.
the ones you most expect.
Yeah. Sometimes the most obvious answer is the right answer.
Oh.
Welp, I posted about a month ago about how I was upset my wife invited her friends back over to our house at the end of the date night and that the husband ended up hanging out until 3 a.m. after I went to bed at 1 a.m. A lot of people suggested they were having an affair and that I was blind to not see it. I swore and swore there was no way I trust both of them, etc. Turns out, Reddit was right. I was unpacking the car and my wife had left her phone in there, and when I picked it up, a text from our friend flashed across saying how he wanted to kiss her and asking her to tell me she needed a night out and should go out to a bar with him. I know it's an invasion of privacy.
Bad guy, but he understands the assignment. Don't invite other people on your date night.
Yeah.
It's just them two at a bar.
Yeah, you don't need a third wheel.
He knows. He knows how to catch a vibe.
I know.
Terrible guy.
Terrible guy. I know it's an invasion of privacy, but we know one another's passcodes, so I opened her phone and checked their text chain. I normally super against. However, he did see the text that said I wanted to kiss you.
He saw the text. I feel like
probable cause at that point.
Yeah, no, our rule is probable cause.
Yeah.
And there's probable cause in this case.
It's like your relationship is already over. She had been deleting his messages, but they were still in the deleted messages folder. You fool. And it wasn't great. They've been going on dates during the day when I'm at work, and he has said very suggestive things to her. I confronted my wife about it, and she claimed it was purely an emotional affair, that she knew he loved her and enjoyed the attention, and that she had been dealing with severe depression, which is true, and it was nice to have someone to talk to who wasn't me. But isn't it purely emotional if they've been kissing? I feel like that's physical.
No. It's just emotional kissing.
It's just emotional kissing. They're
they were
sobbing
just
while they
talking
kiss.
really, really close. And
Oh my God, there's an episode of Psych where Sean, he's like trying to woo the other character, Juliet, and he starts talking to her like right here, and she's like, "Are you trying to kiss me?" He was like, "No, I'm just close talking." And then she's like, "Do you have anything else to say?" And he goes, "No." It's so cute. That's what they were doing.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. That she still loved me. It was just very flattering to have the attention. I don't know whether that is all true or not, but I honestly do think she's telling the truth. She pretty much argued it wasn't that big of a deal because they didn't do anything physical outside of him kissing her once.
What?
That's physical.
This is a big deal. Also, I feel like OP is way too trusting of his wife.
OP's so trusting. Like, I mean, that's nice, but also the fact that you were like, no, 100% she's not cheating on me. And then she comes and she's like, yeah, so I did cheat, but like not physical. We just physically kissed.
Okay, babe.
He's like, for sure, I believe her. And in her defense, the suggestive texts all came from him because she deleted all of her texts. So I don't know where we'll end up, just reality shattering, because I would never thought either would betray me like this. I forgot, yeah, the friend.
Well, question for the audience.
And there are comments.
Do you cut off the friend?
Yeah.
And then do you cut off the wife? Is this a instantly divorceable act, or is it a therapy and then maybe a divorce?
I think you have to do a little bit more investigating to see if this was purely just one kiss.
If it's one kiss?
If it's one kiss and she's repenting and you cut off the friend, maybe therapy. I still think he would be in the right to divorce, though.
How long was this, though? It seems like...
I mean, they have kids. That's what the only reason I'm like, they could probably... I honestly think based off his comments that he probably won't divorce her just because that's his vibe. He's like, my wife, I trust her. I think he would be totally in the right to divorce her, though, because... I feel like she's still not telling the truth.
So we think he's not going to divorce her.
I think he's not going to.
I would agree with you.
I think he
Someone
could or
said
should.
he's giving golden retriever vibes.
Yeah, he's like, it's fine.
It's fine. She loves me.
Yeah.
I don't
but there
care
are
if
some
she
comments.
walks other dogs.
Can we do a poll? Divorce or therapy?
Divorce or therapy? I would love to know what you think. I think if this was me, if I was the guy.
And you have kids.
And I have kids. Mm-hmm. I don't like liars.
I don't like liars.
I'm like a truth teller to the...
I'm a truther. Yeah. No, I think
to the max.
if I was in this case, I may divorce depending on what I found out, like how physical it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think he will. That's my final answer. But let's keep going. Comments. Virtual Choir Boy says, first, look up trickle truthing. You have not yet been giving the full story. She's also going to continue to cheat on you. A cheater that regrets their actions wouldn't try to minimize them. Second, tell his wife. That is a great point. I forgot. She needs to know that her partner is betraying her too. Third, go get a consultation with a divorce lawyer or two. Consultation doesn't mean filing. It means learning what the process is like and what the potential outcomes are. I'm sorry you're going through this. And there is an update 4 days later. Should we get into it? Do you have any other thoughts before we get into it?
I just feel like he's going to be like, the affair is not that bad.
Yeah, we have kids.
We have kids. We can work through this.
Yeah, I think so. Bubbles Marie says, if this is the wife's first time, therapy and see if you can work through it because of kids, but probably divorce ultimately. I feel like that's where I'm at.
Thanks, Bubbles Marie.
Another great advice
from Bubbles
given.
Marie.
But let's get into this update 4 days later. The affair wasn't as bad as I thought, and we're going to work through things.
Nice.
Very
predictable.
I had a true heart-to-heart with my wife 2 days after I learned of the emotional affair. The fact that he's also seeing it as an emotional affair when it wasn't. It was a physical affair.
They smooched.
It was physical.
Well, I guess what we're saying physical affairs are full body in body.
I guess he's saying that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his definition. I think a physical affair is anything that...
Any smooching.
And anything that goes beyond talking.
Any physical contact.
Any physical contact that
How
goes
about
beyond
like,
talking.
office massage.
Like you're in... What's the setting there? You're in the office.
This is an office
you're
workplace.
Like, oh, my back.
Yeah,
and they're like,
yeah.
I'll give you a massage.
But like there's already the emotional affair happening right there.
I think that's still an emotional affair.
They're massaging each other.
If it's in public, it's
in private. They're massaging each other in private. No privates.
Back?
But
just a back massage?
And lower hips.
Ooh. It's physical.
All right. That's our line. Lower hip back massages.
If it goes past the small of the back, that's a physical affair. And we are surprisingly in a really good place now. She apologized profusely, and her description and timeline of events is not as bad as I feared. It is also consistent with my former friend, we'll call him Roderick, told me.
Roderick is the first name you went through.
We were talking about Diary of a Wimpy Kid earlier.
Oh, Roderick.
Yeah. Told me when I interrogated him. And I asked him first before my wife would have really had a chance to collaborate on a story in the event she wanted to do so. It is also consistent with what my wife's sister had told me. She views me like a brother and is a true ally. The wife's sister, she's in on it? Dang. As backstory, Roderick and his wife have been going through
All right, wait. Look, let's dissect that last sentence just for a second.
Yeah.
The sister was in on it.
The sister was in on it.
And views him as an ally.
No. She views him as a brother, and he's saying he's a true ally, except she kept the
secret. She kept the secret. She does not view you as a true ally.
She's a
and
true
definitely
ally.
has you as like a step twice removed brother, if anything, and doesn't want to tell you shit.
Yeah. In his contact, it just says sister's husband. That guy.
Oh.
As backstory, Roderick and his wife have been going through marital issues for quite some time. We were aware of this. He's like, so it's like totally like it's not really a big deal, guys.
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
like
understand.
he didn't even cheat on his wife.
Yeah, honestly, I'm still gonna be friends with Roderick.
yeah. He's a good guy.
About 6 months ago, things really went into a tailspin, and he started talking to my wife almost as a therapist. I know this sounds weird, but my wife is really good at listening to people's troubles and providing insight. She listens so hard.
So well.
She
it
does
made the emotional cheating worse. How good she listened.
She does this for a bunch of friends, admittedly, essentially all women. It started out like once a week or so, just casual therapy, and gradually increased from there. By a couple of months ago, they were talking regularly, i.e. several times a week, but still only covering totally PC topics.
I love how he says totally PC.
Totally PC. After a couple months, they were getting into red pill territory real quick. My wife's sister actually confronted my wife and warned her that she thought Roderick had fallen for her and that she needed to be careful. My wife was convinced that they were just good friends. The night of the infamous date night was actually still in this period. My wife admitted that the optics looked bad, but she really was just having a good time and was frankly pretty wasted and not thinking clearly. She did say, though, that after that night, she realized that he might have feelings for her and that in retrospect, it was pretty obvious. Hold up. This timeline doesn't fit for me. He's like, oh, the timeline works. He's saying that she didn't realize that he had feelings with her until the first date night that OP talked about.
But yeah, wasn't that when he discovered everything?
Well, it sounds like he discovered it a couple days later, but it seems like all of these Reddit updates were within a couple days. So if they kissed, you're telling me that all of that happened after the date night that OP brought up? That doesn't make sense to me.
No, they're definitely they were smooching
no, I
beforehand.
think that, I don't buy it. She felt bad about the date night fiasco and has been much better in that regard, and she also reduced her booze consumption. About 6 weeks ago, we went on a ski trip with 5 other families, including Roderick and his wife. It was It was a horrible trip for him, and he and his wife fought a lot. One of the nights, he got pretty wasted and asked my wife to meet him at the bar at our hotel since he needed to talk.
Wait. Is this
This is before the date night, so I don't understand what he's saying.
This is before the date night.
Yeah, he said about 6 weeks ago, and then
6 weeks ago but this update like a month later?
Yeah. No, is it? I thought this was a couple days later.
Hold
on.
I believe it said 1 month later.
Maybe that's why. It says 4 days later, and the other update was...
Oh, is it 4 days later only?
Okay, yeah. So the second update was 1 month later. So that makes sense now.
Okay, so this 6 weeks thing is
still would have been right before the date night.
Right before the date night. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's doing the math.
Okay.
Okay. While there, he told her that he loved her and wished that he had married her rather than his wife. That's a pretty big emotional affair.
At least on his end.
Yeah. My wife.
I mean, he's just saying that.
He's just saying things. If she said, I love you too.
Yeah, then we're in hot water.
My wife just told him, I'm sorry. Okay. I had been putting the kids to bed when this went down and came down and inadvertently interrupted them right after they said this. I do remember some weird vibes in retrospect. My wife admitted she should have told me right then and there. But yes. Absolutely. She's done nothing wrong right now.
She hasn't done
emotional, but
I think as soon as you don't tell your partner
then
you've done something wrong.
Exactly. But that she didn't want to blow up the trip for the whole friend group. It's too late, dude. As if she told me she was worried that I might make a scene. He then didn't say anything problematic for another week or two, and she chalked it up to him just being really wasted and really sad and hoped things could just go back to normal. That she's lying.
She's lying.
She's full on lying.
I feel like she feels something.
She absolutely,
She
I mean,
feels
like, well, we
something.
know that she feels something because, I mean, in the second update, she admitted to having an emotional affair. Unfortunately, Roderick's marriage took a turn for the worse about a month ago, and it seems pretty clear that they're going to get divorced. My wife, who suffers from severe depression, also went into a depressive period around this time, in large part due to some familial issues. I feel like that's not the only reason. Feel like it's pretty tied with Roderick. He's like, it was at the same time, but like she said it wasn't that. She said it had nothing to do with that.
It definitely does.
This was timed very poorly, as I recently launched a new division at my company and have been working 60-hour weeks for the last 3 months or so. Both Roderick and my wife felt isolated and lonely, and Roderick started calling my wife virtually every day. They also started grabbing lunch once or twice a week. This is after he admitted that he was in love with her.
Well, she's into it.
She's so into
She's
it.
so into it. She wants it.
I guess he would meet her for lunch on his lunch break. The vast majority of their interaction was them talking about life, but he started saying inappropriate things in person like, "You're the most beautiful woman I know," or "You're gorgeous." Of course, he's already said the most inappropriate thing. He said he was in love with her.
Well, yeah, I mean, the red flag
Yeah.
is just getting redder that she's not leaving.
Yeah. He also started drinking heavily, and he would send suggestive texts when drinking, which my wife claims she would just ignore. The time he kissed her, I was actually home.
Bold.
The three of us had been hanging out, and I went to use the restroom.
Bold.
Oh my God.
Oh, she likes the attention.
Yeah. I asked her why she didn't tell me or shut things down, and she admitted it was a mixture of not wanting to blow up our friend group, plus her enjoying the attention and compliments, even if she had no interest in the guy. You gotta have a little interest. Like, I'm sure it is for the attention and compliments, but like, gotta have a little interest.
Well, it's like you don't just like compliments from anyone.
No.
You like
some
compliments
people
from
you
someone
get
you like.
compliments and you're like, this is
Yeah.
weird. But you get compliments from that guy and you're like,
let's go win.
She chuckled a little bit when I asked if she had slept with him. For reference, Roderick is probably 150 pounds overweight, which is one of the major strains in his marriage, whereas my wife is a true 10 out of 10.
Sheesh.
Basically, she was depressed, needed someone to talk to, and since I was so busy with work, she found that emotional support elsewhere.
I guess that's maybe why he felt so comfortable leaving his wife and Roderick alone, is because he was like, bro, there's no way my
There's no
10
way.
out of 10 baddie
Yeah.
wife is going to hook up with Roderick. Who's not taking the best care of himself.
Which is just, yeah, maybe that's why he's so blind.
But he's neglecting the vibe.
The vibe.
He's neglecting
You can
the
vibe with
vibe.
freaking anyone, man.
You can vibe with, and people often will take vibe over good luck.
It's true.
Any day.
Any day.
Any day.
She admits that it was really wrong and has agreed to take a bunch of actions to prevent this in the future. For me, I still struggle with why she would do some of this. If he texts that you should come over and join him in the shower, and you respond, "Why don't we do a lunch date instead?" From my view, that's pouring gasoline on a fire by showing you still want to meet with him.
Is that a real part of the text conversation?
Yes. Oh, he's like, I don't know. Like, if he texts, he wants you to join in the shower, and you still want to hang out, this is not, like, maybe not the best thing. Ezekiel 23 says the spicy sleep strike really didn't come into the story at all. I feel like OP just wasn't realizing that that was a problem and like an actual problem in their marriage.
Yeah. Well, I think he was secure.
Yeah.
Maybe
Too
in the marriage.
secure.
And too secure.
Whereas she thought she was steering things away from problematic situations, something shady can't happen in a public setting. She said he came by the house a couple of times during the day, including once when her son was home with her, but that she really tried to steer things to public settings once she knew he loved her. It also does hurt a bit that in one of the texts, Roderick asked if they could do a lunch date, and she says, "No, my husband, me, is working from home today," with a sad face. But we're going to make it work. We're going to do couples therapy, and she wants to do individual therapy, and she also started working part-time to keep her busy on something else. We can't go fully non-contact with Roderick. Why not? Why not? I think you have to go fully no contact.
Because I love him.
Because I love Roderick.
I love him, Daddy.
But now all communication has to include me. I'm also going to work on being more emotionally present, even when working a ton. And I told her that if she's having a depressive episode and needs to talk to someone, she can always call me.
Yeah, the problem is me.
This is what's happening. Opie's like,
It's really my fault.
I realized that she was right. I wasn't there for her, and that's why she cheated on me with Roderick. And honestly, I also realized Roderick's not that bad of a guy.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he might be 150 pounds overweight, but he's still looking fresh.
Looking fresh as heck.
More of him to love.
She was afraid to call during the day since I'm very busy and would call Roderick instead. I also promised to work on being happier and more positive. I'm usually a very cheerful person, which is something she loved about me. Not enough, I guess. But I had been pretty grumpy and miserable over the last few months due to my job being crazy. So a little blame does rest with me. I'm certainly not perfect, although I'd never cheat on my partner. He's saying, a little blame, but he's putting all of the blame on himself.
He's just trying to be the best husband he can be.
It's a bummer, man. I know most of you will probably roll your eyes and say I'm being a pushover. No.
We wouldn't do that.
We would never do that.
We would never do that.
We would never do that.
You're already on the ground, dude. To be a pushover, you have to be standing.
We would have to push you over. You already
down.
fell over. But none of you know how amazing my wife is. She has a magnetic personality and is the life of a party. She's also one of the most brilliant people I have ever met. She's a great mom and my best friend. And finally, she's a bombshell. When she's dolled up, most heads turn when she enters a room. If you've ever seen Wedding Crashers, she is, in both personality and appearance, eerily similar to Isla Fisher's, is it Isla?
I don't know.
Okay. Character, although she's better looking than her. I honestly can't blame Roderick for falling for her, but I can blame him and call him a piece of crap for acting on it. Dumb, maybe, but my wife is too amazing to let go over this without a fight, especially when she seems committed to fixing things and actually apologetic, including for getting defensive the night I discovered it.
Yeah.
I'll do an update in a few
says,
months.
there it is. She's hot.
Yeah, there are some comments, but it really feels like this guy's like, maybe he's not like the hottest person in the world. And he's like, my wife is so hot that she can do anything.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that thing go just because she cheated.
What's cheating between hot people?
Yeah, it's nothing. Hot people get to cheat as much as they want.
Apparently in this story, yeah. Man, this is exactly what I expected. I knew that he was going to.
She was hot.
No, that he was going to stay with her.
Oh, yeah, we called that.
Yeah, that was so obvious. And he's so chill with it. And I'm just shocked that they're still hanging out with Roderick. He's like, oh, well, we can't cut ties. And I'm assuming it's along the lines of...
Because the vibes are too strong between the wife and the Roderick. They're just too strong.
You can't cut those vibes. No, but I'm assuming that it's because they're in a similar friend group. Because they said, oh, we're all like connected. But I think you could still cut them off.
Yeah. Oh, so Honeybee85 says if she can't respect him enough to stay faithful, how hot she is doesn't matter.
I agree.
And to
be clear, I agree. I just think this is why he's staying.
But but you don't know how hot she is.
You don't. Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't get
so
it.
you can't. I don't think you get it.
Right now, we're dealing with hypotheticals.
Yeah.
We've never seen how hot she is. No, I totally agree. It just makes sense why he's still here. But there are some comments. Advanced Vanilla 673 just says rolled eyes.
That's all that needs to be said.
Simple, short and sweet. Reformed Otter says, your wife has obviously been having spicy sleep with him and is not even nearly as great as you think she is. She doesn't respect you, nor is she truly in love with you. She might love you, but she isn't in love, at least not anymore. And there is an update 3 months later.
Oh, man. I feel like man's about to get rocked.
I think he's going to, 3 months later, he's going to be like, hey, guys, so she was physically cheating on me.
Yep, with Roderick.
And she still actually left me for Roderick.
Yeah. But it's not that bad.
But she said that I could see her on the weekends.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that, I think, for now.
I think it's it works with my schedule better. And, she's doing this because she really loves me.
Yeah.
And wants my career to be as good as possible.
And she was just so lonely, and I can't really fault her for it.
No, yeah, she's depressed. She's depressed. And
she's
hot. Did I mention how hot she is? She's lonely and hot.
But there is an update 3 months later. As a recap, I made an Am I the A-hole post about me being upset at my wife inviting my best friend over on a date night earlier this year. A majority of the responders replied that they were likely having an affair. I defended my wife and former best friend. And then a month later, I discovered Reddit was right, and they were indeed having an affair, albeit an emotional one. After my last few posts gained some traction, I promised to provide an update in a few months. The last few months have been a bit of a roller coaster, but I'm happy to report that my wife and I are in a really good place at the moment and fully reconciled. I'm sorry.
3 months later?
I don't trust you, but sure, I'm happy. There have been some wild moments since Discovery Day. Oh,
no.
boy. Going non-contact with my former best friend, Rick.
We got Roderick right?
That's actually kind of crazy.
Well,
I
think
just added
Rick
Rod.
is a fake name. But
Okay, well, still,
maybe it is Roderick.
I didn't
for
read
short.
this story, so I was pretty close. I'm gonna call him Roderick anyway. Only to have him call my wife several months later in the middle of a game night with friends, which was awkward, sobbing in his car and threatening to end his life. I told her I was fine if she were to talk to him that night, since we were legitimately concerned he might off himself, and although F him, he was my former best friend and I didn't want him to unalive. But they spoke for like 2 hours that night, and then he started texting her constantly and called like 5 times the next day, forcing us to go non-contact with him again, which they should have done from the start. I think they probably were
He's using the cursed pickup line.
Yeah. They're really well, I know, and they're both kind of complete, like not leading him on, but they're entertaining this. Like, obviously, I understand you don't want someone
like,
to.
what are you like?
What do you do?
What do you do if someone says that to you and it's like, I need you to talk to me right now or else? Do you take the call or no?
I honestly,
because I think like on one side that invites crazy into your life.
But I also don't think it helps them in the long run.
No, it doesn't. But what if they're like, I'm going to do it?
I think that I would probably pick up that call. However, before I did so, or maybe while I was doing it, and this might not be, I don't know if you guys know, but I think I would probably call whoever I know who like knows that person and get them to go immediately. Like get someone else Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think it is helpful for you to continue to be in that person's life.
No, because, I mean, they're just going to, like, what's to stop them from doing it again?
Yeah, like, I think you call, like, 911. You call someone they know.
Harriet Spaghetti said, call a wellness check.
Yeah.
That's when the police come by and
I think
like,
so.
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I think
Don
that's what
K
you do.
Also says wellness check, offer protection for them, and draw the line. It's Brittany Beach says, call services to help them. It's not your responsibility to take that on yourself. It's harsh, but not the problem.
I think a lot of times people will use it as this excuse to keep you coming back and keep you connected to them. And that's like, they are not your problem.
Yeah, and I think it's like, you let that line be crossed and they're just going to cross
Exactly.
it again.
They'll keep doing it. Yeah, so I think the welfare check is the way to go. Running into Roderick at a group event and him acting incredibly emo and moody, he sat in a corner and drank an entire bottle of whiskey out of an oversized Yeti. Roderick approaching me at said event and saying that he was on the verge of telling everyone about the affair because he just wants to burn everything down. My wife and I were able to convince him not to do so. They really need to go no contact with this guy.
Yeah, but I guess Roderick is so intertwined.
Yeah.
In the friend group, and everyone loves his vibe.
Everyone vibes so hard.
Everyone vibes so hard.
Learning that Roderick had asked my wife to leave me, she said no, and he told her he would wait however long she needed, even 15 years.
I like that's a very specific.
He's like, you are hot enough that I will wait 15 years
but no more.
No more.
I mean, at that
no
point,
less.
why don't you just say I'll wait my entire life? 15 years is like so long.
Yeah.
To be hung up on 15 years. Like, why not 16?
Well, yeah, at that point, why not 15 and a half?
Yeah.
Why specifically? What's happening in 15 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Rick becoming obsessed with my wife's sister, who is very similar to my wife. They now go out for drinks several times a week and talk daily. I don't think your wife's sister is an ally. I think that she's actively working against you.
I think you need to put up barriers.
Yes.
For your family too.
Everyone needs to put up barriers.
Also,
here.
does the sister know about what's happened?
Well, apparently she does. I mean, I think she knew about the affair.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, she does. That is no ally.
No. My wife is convinced he is now in love with her. Awkwardly, my sister-in-law is separated, but still lives with her soon-to-be ex-husband. That is awkward. Roderick is still married, but divorce is seemingly imminent. In all this chaos, however, my wife and I have been doing very well. The shock of the affair forced us to work through our issues, and we now communicate about as well as one could hope for, and have solved most of the issues that led her to look outside our marriage for emotional support.
And once again, cheating saves the relationship. There we go. Cheating makes relationships better.
I'd love to be able to go back in time and prevent the affair, and I don't know if I'll trust anyone fully anymore, but in many ways it improved our relationship, which is a very strange thing to say. That's a funny Back to the Future plot. It's like, I need to go back in time and stop my wife from having an affair on me.
You don't need to do that.
No, I know.
Then you'll...
That's what he's saying.
Oh, wait, where?
He was like, I'd love to be able to go back in time and prevent the affair.
But then we might break up.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're gonna become invisible and you're gonna, I don't know, get with your mom. That's the plot of Back to the Future. I mean, he doesn't get with this.
Those 80s movies go wild.
But there are some comments. Baker Street 1999 says, my wife and I are in a really good place at the moment. Morgan Freeman voice. No, they're not. Molly had a baby and it's underrated comment. Sharkwatcher 314 says, a more accurate comment is probably they're in a better place compared to right after the affair, which is quite different than good. Anon Throwaway says, temporary holding pattern until a more attractive, more in shape Roderick comes along for her inevitable. And there is another update.
Another one?
There is another update. Do you have anything to say?
Ezekiel has a new golden rule. It's okay to cheat if you're hot.
It's just more likely that you'll get back together if your partner's hot.
Tool.
It's a predictive tool. It's another one of Sam's predictive tools.
Our predictive tool.
Sam specifically.
The Donner predictive tools.
No, it's the two ones. It's connected. Either you will stay together with your wife if you've been together for more than 4 years, or if she's really hot.
Mm-hmm. Or if you have a kid.
Or if you have a kid, which in this case,
he's got
all three.
All three.
So what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, he can't divorce. That would be crazy.
Divorce his hot wife that he had a kid with?
Exactly. Oh, wait, how many years have they been together?
I don't know, but at least kid age.
Yeah, so like more than 4 years.
Yeah, gotta be. Got to be. But there is an update. This is part 5 of the ongoing circus that is my personal life. In my last post, a lot of you expressed concern, surprise, or anger that my sister-in-law was now meeting up with Rick. Those are all probably valid reactions to this news. Yesterday, I decided that we should figure out what's going on between the two of them, and my wife and I reached out to the sister-in-law. I'm glad we did. Oh, what's going on between Opie's wife's sister and Roderick? Mm-hmm. I thought he was saying that the wife was talking to Roderick again. I was like, what? I'm glad we did because things just kept getting weirder and weirder. Roderick and sister-in-law have met up 5 or 6 times, either for coffee or drinks. The most recent and likely final meetup was actually at Roderick's house one evening. His wife and daughter were out of town visiting family. Roderick had to work and couldn't go, and he had the place to himself. So he invited sister-in-law over for a drink. What is, I just don't understand how she can be like, I know everything that happened with Roderick and my sister and still be down to hang out with this guy when he has a child and he's not divorced.
Because of the vibe.
The vibe.
He's a really
Everyone
fun
keeps forgetting
guy.
the vibe.
Yeah, even you're forgetting
I'm forgetting about the vibe. While hanging out, he told sister-in-law that he believes he was married both to my wife and to sister-in-law in prior lives at the same time.
Maybe they share part of the same soul because they're related.
They're related. And that he is glad to reunited with them. He then told sister-in-law that she was beautiful and put his hand on the side of her face, as one might do to one's partner. In my view, it is a fairly intimate act. This perhaps unsurprisingly freaked sister-in-law out. Girl, why did you go over there? Why did you go over to his house alone?
Yeah, what did you expect? Especially, like, he has a behavior of doing this.
A pattern of saying that he's in love with people. To give her credit, she told Roderick that he was being highly inappropriate, that he needed to stop, and that he couldn't keep taking someone trying to be a friend to him as showing interest in him. Okay. Almost like 99% of the time, I'm like, you know what? Like most times women aren't just like leading men on. They're actually trying to be friends, and then the men take it as like a different thing. In this case, when a man has a pattern of behaving away and he invites you to hang out at his house alone, you gotta do the math before you go over there.
And that's not hard math.
That's pretty easy math.
It's the easiest math that you could do.
Yeah, that's like use some of your gut, use some of your brain.
Yeah, add them up. Brain plus gut means,
and you'll realize maybe Roderick's not the best guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
She then scolded him for doing this first to my wife and then to her. It's the sort of thing I wish my wife had told him when he started being inappropriate with her. From what I understand, she then left. The thing is that, like, unless, I don't know, it's not really the same situation with her and Roderick as it was with OP's wife and Roderick. Like, OP's wife was reciprocating. Like, she's like, oh, you did this with my sister and now you're doing it with me. But it seems like she's saying that she's not reciprocating at all, whereas OP's wife was reciprocating. So it is like a different situation.
Different situation, but still both bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has been ghosting him since then. Roderick has apparently frantically texted her dozens and dozens of times. Sister-in-law emphasized to us that she had no romantic interest in Roderick and was just trying to be a friend to him. It's all just odd to me. I've known Roderick for years and I feel like the current Roderick is a stranger. It makes me wonder if I've ever actually knew the real Roderick. I guess not. And there is another episode.
Oh my God.
There is another
What?
episode. It just keeps going.
Getting better.
It's just Roderick is still around. He's like, we went no contact, but then actually we did break that and Roderick came back.
Roderick needs to just retire
Please.
into a small village.
Go on that skiing trip again. Just live out your life skiing.
Yeah. Where you can't do any more damage.
Please. You can flirt with all the skiers.
Yeah, the snow bunnies.
Harriet Spaghetti says, are all of the people in this story in an area with lead in the water or something? They're all criminally stupid.
But they're hot.
They're so hot.
They're so hot.
This is like Zoolander.
Yeah, hot people.
Dumb hot people. Yeah. But there is another update. Episode 5, The Affair Partner Strikes Back. TLDR, wife had an emotional affair with my ex-best friend, Roderick. I overlooked the signs for too long because I trusted them. I eventually discovered the affair and shut things down. And my wife has been a model wife and partner since then.
Yeah, she's a model.
She's a model. And ceased all contact with Roderick, other than several incidents detailed in my prior posts. For the last few months, it seemed like this saga was finally behind me. I don't think it is then. But that is not how life works, and the phantom of Roderick reared its head yet again.
No.
I opened my laptop and noticed that my wife had left her email account logged in.
No.
Oh my God. Not only has OP not learned his lesson, but his wife hasn't learned her lesson.
Roderick has learned his lesson. But if he just keeps pestering these people, they will fall in love with him.
They'll give in. They keep giving in. This is so ridiculous.
Again, the power of a vibe.
Oh my goodness. But this makes me this confirms that all of us were right, that she was never actually fully over Roderick, and that she was just telling OP what he wanted to hear.
But he's crazy.
Yeah. He's so stupid. I'm sorry. It was probably an invasion of privacy, but we had agreed that either of us could always look at the other's phones, emails, etc. So I snooped and searched to see if Roderick had emailed her. There were a few innocent emails and one that sent me into a rage. The email was from Roderick to my wife's work email and was truly unhinged. It was pages and pages of Roderick professing his undying love to my wife. In the email, Roderick went on and on about how my wife cutting contact with him has broken him, how she's his soulmate and the only woman he has ever truly loved, and how he has tried for months to show her that he is the man for her and that he would be a better spouse than me.
How has he tried that? Because last time I remember, he's just like,
he was just hanging out
if you
with
don't
the
love
sister.
me, I will unalive myself. Those are his words. That's literally what he said.
And then his second tactic was, I'm going to get with your sister.
Is that the man that you want to show up as?
Also, regardless of whether the emails were innocent or this confession of love, she has still violated your trust because you said you were going no contact and that she would never talk to him without your, involvement.
And even if you didn't respond, you should still...
No, that's what I'm saying. The fact that she just kept anything hidden, regardless of how innocent the emails were, is not innocent because she promised that she would, tell OP about any contact. Ah, man. With a comment about how I don't treat her like she deserves and that he wants to help her raise our kids and his kid together. He adds that she's the first person he thinks about when he wakes up and the last person he thinks about when he goes to sleep, that he cries every day thinking of her and knowing that she slipped away, and that his last thought in life when he passes away will be of her.
But at least for the next 15 years.
The next 15 years, that's what I was going to say. In 15 years, he'll have a different thought. He then lists his favorite memories with her, such as the time they went on a lunch date together. And then it cues to the montage of them running through a forest and her underneath the sheets.
Yeah.
And she's laughing.
The white sheet moment. There's always that moment.
We saw Gladiator, and the second, there's no spoilers, but just the very first scene, the wife of Paul Mescal is going through sheets, and I was like,
dude, the white sheet, she's not gonna last.
She's not gonna last.
And we won't tell you if that is true or not.
That was just my thought in the first scene of the movie. Hugging her so he can smell her, playing guitar for her, her smile, singing songs together, and the time they sat together and watched shooting stars. We did a family trip together, but I had to fly out a day later than everyone else due to work, and apparently the first night the two of them stayed up and watched shooting stars after everyone went to bed. He then begs her to reconsider because he doesn't want her to wake up one day 10 years from now and realized that she made a mistake staying with me. But at that point, she would still have 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah, 15 years from now, it seems like more accurate.
Yeah. And that he's willing to wait until the day he passes away, which is... Now he's changed.
He's upgraded it.
He's like, you know what? I know I said 15 years, but I'm willing to negotiate to be with her because he'll never stop loving her. He further adds he feels hurt that she seemingly enjoyed his intention, but never had any intention of being with him.
Whoa.
I bet he wrote that out exactly.
He was like, yeah.
He was like, that was fire. That was really
fire.
good. As I noted above, finding this sent me into a rage as I felt that my wife betrayed me by not telling me that Roderick sent this. I am still a little hurt that she didn't disclose it, but her perspective was that she had no contact with him. He sent an email to try and get around being blocked on the phone, and that it was clearly unhinged, so she just ignored it, which is true. She never replied. Regardless, she should have told you.
Especially after hiding the other stuff. Like, you gotta be extra transparent.
She knew that I would be upset if I saw it, and that she and I are doing much better, and she didn't want to allow Roderick to ruin things being a jack. But the thing is that she's ruined it more. I truly, based off OP's reactions to everything else in the story, I doubt that he would have been upset at his wife if she had said, hey, I just got this email. I didn't respond.
Less bad than the first time.
Absolutely.
This is less bad than the first time, but it's like the trust is already broken, and so you gotta be like flawless.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel that it's not malicious on her part.
No, I do think that she was like, oh, I didn't want to upset him. But I also think that three things. One, I think that she didn't want to upset him. Two, I think that she truly wasn't interested in Roderick, and probably. But also three, I think that he's just going to stay with her anyway. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Wait, that actually wasn't my three thoughts. The second one was that she has broken the trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I had 4 thoughts. And those are my 4 thoughts.
Those are great thoughts.
Thanks. Appreciate it. But yeah, I don't think that he's going to break up with her over this if he didn't break up with her before.
Yeah, this is much less aggressive. But what actually happens?
I disagree with her logic and continue to believe that she should have immediately told me, and she understands that now and will do so if anything like this happens again. But I'm not mad at her for it. He's not mad at her for anything. The peculiar thing is that discovering the email has massively improved my mental state and happiness. First, I now know with a high degree of confidence that nothing physical ever happened. My wife had already convinced me of this, but this confirmed it. Rick would have had at least tangentially mentioned it in his list of favorite memories if anything had occurred. Second, the email confirmed that my wife had truly gone no contact with him. A large portion of the email was about how being completely cut off from her was ruining him. Again, my wife had already convinced me that this was the case, but it is always nice to have external confirmation. Third, it confirmed that while my wife acted inappropriately, she never really gave in to him. The email was in large part a story of unrequited love. Rick was upset in the email that he showered her with praise and attention, but never really got anything out of it. And finally, the email is the ramblings of a sad little man. As much as I personally suffered post-discovery of the affair, Rick has suffered to a much higher degree. He's not doing well. And this email showed the depths of his despair. Perhaps it's bad to admit, but I've been experiencing significant schadenfreude. It's cool. Knowing that Rick has been suffering. He deserves it. I'm furious at Roderick. We have reached a détente a while back, and I've been civil with him the last few times I've seen him. At one point, I had straight up asked him to his face what his motives have been and what he had been trying to accomplish with respect to his relationship with my wife. He had the nerve to tell me that he had no real plan or goal and was just sad and depressed and looking for a friend. It admitted he had made a few wasted mistakes and wished he could take them back. The scumbag lied to my face. The email confirmed that he was trying to convince my wife to leave me, even after the affair had ended. I'm inevitably going to run into him again before too long, and I don't know how I'm going to react, but probably not well. I really want to punch him, but I know that this is probably not a mature choice, even if he deserves to have the crap beaten out of him. My wife had an interesting perspective, which was that the most soul-crushing way to get my revenge would be to grab her and kiss her right in front of him the next time we run into him, as it would flaunt that I have what he desired more than anything but could never have.
Yeah, kiss your wife.
I don't know if she should be giving you advice on how to get back at the guy that cheated on you.
Also, he seems unstable. Like, I don't think it's like a good idea to rub it in his face.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is the best advice from your wife. And the more I have thought about it, the more I know she's right.
No!
She's not right.
She's not right.
She's really not right. Petty, sure, but I could use some vengeance right now. And that is where the story ends. Man, oh man, this guy.
He's a simpleton.
He's a simpleton.
Simpleton.
Yeah.
He's simping all around
He's in
town.
Simp Town.
He's in
Population, this guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily he's all alone.
He's all alone in Simp Town, and his wife is with Roderick, at least in 15 years. But that's the end of that story, and specifically the end of this episode. So
how are we doing on time, Addie?
Yeah,
32 and 27. That's pretty good.
We should be at about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Excellent. Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think Roderick is unstable and needs help, and so I don't think any of this idea of
getting back at
sticking
him
it to him is a good idea.
Well, I think sticking it to him implies that he still has a hold over your relationship, and also the fact that the wife specifically offered that suggestion feels like she's still kind of, trying to get back at him, which is weird too. Like, she shouldn't want to do anything with Roderick. She should be like, oh, let's just ignore him. He literally has no power over us.
Yeah.
But it's like they both are still trying to involve Roderick.
And Rod, you just gotta. I think if you want as little drama and maximal benefit, you should
cut him off.
Cut him off completely. No contact.
Like, if you see him at a party, ignore him.
But that is where that story ends.
Indeed.
The girl who stole my fiance also stole my boyfriend.
That's a villain origin story right there. What? That's your nemesis.
If I've ever heard one, that is definitely.
That's your rival.
Be ready with your popcorn and your iced coffee, because y'all are going to be mad at me at some point during this story. Oh, boy.
No. I don't like how you're calling this out. You're calling yourself out already.
I, 29 female, was engaged to my now ex-fiance, who we will call Asher, 29 male, in 2020. We were best friends up until we started dating in our second year of high school. By the way, this story comes from user Recovering People Pleaser on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we dated for only 3 days, and I broke it off immediately as I was too scared of being in a relationship while trying to maintain my academic standings in school. For context, we're Asians, and Asian parents are a bit more strict, especially when it comes to school. We stopped talking for a few months until we became best friends again. After him, I had been in a physically and mentally abusive relationship, to be exact. Asher and I eventually rekindled our romance on my last year of college. All of my friends were very happy for me, as they said this has been the best relationship decision I have done so far. Well, they're in for a surprise. Asher and I had a smooth relationship for a year up until I had to take my licensure exam. A day before traveling to the exam center, I went over to his house and we were just hanging out, watching movies, and everything was fine until his mom came over to us and asked him if he had told me yet. He said no. I was confused, but at the time, Asher just brushed it off. After an hour, his mom asked to talk to me alone inside his room. I remember feeling so scared and started overthinking, like maybe I've done something wrong. She started off by asking if I knew of this certain girl who I'll call Michelle. From what I knew, Michelle was an acquaintance of Asher's from his training club. I told his mom, yes, I did know her. Her next sentence almost made me lose my mind. She said Michelle just gave birth and reached out to them because she's claiming Asher got her pregnant.
Oh.
I was at a loss for words. She said the baby was born with a medical condition that puts his life at risk. Oh, God, that's terrible. His mom said she wanted to let me know as Asher didn't have the guts to tell me, but she emphasized that Asher strongly denied being the father. She gave us the chance to talk and to sum things up. I believed him. The next day, I was already on my way for my licensure exam, which is a 2-day intensive exam, when I received a message just as I was about to enter the exam room. It was from Michelle. She was asking me to take pity on her child and to convince Asher to pay for child support since the child is currently fighting for his life at the hospital. I didn't get the chance to reply as I was already seated and the exam was about to start. The exam is an 8 to 5 exam with only one lunch break allowed. I tried my best to get it out of my head as this exam was to make or break the entire course of my life. Yeah, God, what an unbelievable thing to get right before one of the most important tests of your life.
Yeah, this is
wow.
OP is just like this is like my make or break right here, and
wow,
you get this context.
I managed to keep my cool until the end of the second day, and I talked to Asher immediately about what Michelle told me. He said his parents already sent some money to her out of pity for the child, but not because he admits he's the father, which was kind of suspicious, but whatever, it wasn't my money. I then responded to Michelle saying how sorry I was about her and her baby situation situation and that I've tried talking to Asher, but he still denies it. And I wouldn't get involved any further because I'm just a girlfriend. I told her I'd pray for her and her baby. She still kept bothering me through messages, but I didn't know what to say it to her at this point. The sad thing is the baby passed a few days after that, which totally broke my heart and also breaks ours. You never want that. You hate to see it every time. Fast forward after the Michelle drama, I passed the exam amidst the stress of it all. Asher and I were still together and he went back to college. He started later than me because he was addicted to video games. I haven't ever heard that as a reason to start school late, but I'm not going to judge. Our whole relationship was a long distance one after that, where we only got to talk to each other every weekend and see each other on Christmas and New Year's because he's in military school. And even after all the time constraints, he still managed to cheat on me multiple times. Too many to count on my fingers. And the funny thing is, I stayed. Yes, I stayed.
Why?
Well, there might be an explanation here.
I don't know.
I'm probably a walking red flag myself because of this. After 3 years into the relationship, I decided to move abroad for a job opportunity. I didn't think it would be much of a problem for us as we were already in a long distance relationship for quite a while. Boy, was I wrong about that. A month after moving abroad, I had this feeling that I get whenever he's cheating on me. Mind you, for all the times he's cheated on me prior, I would always catch him in the act, like I probably would make a good FBI agent at this point. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being cheated on. I shared my thoughts to the wife of his best friend, let's call her Eve, who I became friends with after we got together. She told me to look for more signs until one morning as I was getting ready to go to work, Eve messaged me, and before I opened her message, I already had the feeling it wouldn't be good news. She said she knew who he's cheating with, and she sends me a photo of them in a mirror selfie to a place where we once went on vacation. I was at a loss for words on who the girl was. She is the star of this story. Let's call her Megan. Megan was the mistress of Asher's best friend.
What is going on?
Yes, Eve and I are flabbergasted. We had no idea that our partners were so close that they managed to screw one girl and make them their mistress. Asher's best friend had her first, and a year after that, Asher. I was furious and did something petty. As the photo that Eve showed me was posted on Facebook, I commented and tagged Asher's mom and said this is what he was doing when he asked for your permission to go to his senior in military. Immediately after that, Asher started calling me nonstop and kept gaslighting me that I was crazy. I broke up with him after that. Yes!
Finally.
Thank God!
Yeah.
His whole family was consoling me, but nothing eases the pain. What's worse, I learned about the affair a few weeks before taking another licensure exam for the country I moved to. My God! I still fortunately passed the exam and stopped communicating with Asher way before I took it. Fast forward to 7 months after that, Asher and I started talking again. No! He was apologizing until eventually we got back together. I am beyond stupid at this point, which I'm sorry, OP. I agree.
OP did call herself out earlier in the story, but
in your own words, OP, that was stupid of you to do. Our relationship was okay for another year, but I could tell the damage was already there. He then proposed to me online in a very public Facebook post where he tagged me and our parents with a photo of a ring and mushy messages asking me to marry him as we were still in different countries, and I stupidly said yes.
Why?
Anyone watching this, please use this as a blueprint as what to never, ever, ever, ever do in a relationship. If someone proposes to you over Facebook, first of all, you block them because that is never acceptable way to propose to somebody. I don't care how far away you are.
That's your first one?
Never, ever propose to somebody.
That's your first red flag. You're like, that's the biggest red flag.
It should have been like I'm not going to accept this. At the very least, no, propose to me a better way. Yeah. I'm not doing this.
But the consistent cheating.
Being cheated on literally the entire time you're in a relationship with somebody. Don't marry that person.
And you have the evidence.
A few more months after I accepted his proposal, I was already nearing the end of my contract in my workplace and planned to go home to my home country to have our wedding. We started wedding planning, and with the help of my besties, who I knew were secretly questioning my sanity because of my decision to say yes to his proposal. He was in another country due to the nature of his job and said we'd meet in our home country in a few months, but his contract ends earlier than mine. Everything was great up until he arrived home. He started messaging less and I started getting the ugly feeling again. Whenever I brought up the icky feeling, he would gaslight me saying he's only been back for a few days and had just started hanging out with the dudes, and I was just overthinking. Well, my female instincts never failed me. I caught him cheating again. And guess what? It was with Megan again.
Megan!
At that point, I was already so fed up and so tired. I called off the engagement and blocked him on all social medias he could even try to contact me on. Thank God. Even email. I started going to therapy and hanging out with my friends and tried to make myself better until I reached the end of my contract. A few weeks before my flight back home, I met this guy from our hometown, let's call him Mark, and we started talking to each other. He was nice and started making plans of what we'd do once I arrived home. Shortly after I finished my contract and flew back home, Mark and I were still talking and we were very much interested with each other. I didn't get to see him until 10 days after my arrival though, as it was COVID time and I had to undergo mandatory quarantine. Mark was a nice guy. He treated me far differently from how Asher did. We started dating and I was happy and stress-free. Or so I thought.
I really hope.
When I arrived at our hometown, I met with Mark and we started hanging out with my friends and we were all happy. One day, Mark started being shady about his whereabouts though. I asked him if he wanted to hang out, but he said he was sick and would rather stay home. I started to have the ugly feels again, but I brushed it off, thinking it was just the trauma that my past relationship gave me. And then me and my friend had plans to go out. I didn't have my own car yet, so I used a public transport. When they tell you God has his favorites, I must be one of them, because as I stepped in, lo and behold, it was Megan. And boy, was I not surprised when I heard she told the driver to drop her off. Where? In front of Mark's house. She tried to whisper it, but girl, I have good hearing. So after I heard that, I told her, oh, you're gonna see Mark? Well, tell him to feel better soon. By the way, I would feel better soon if you joined us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok. Just tap our profile and you're in. Mark and I broke up after that. Thank God. He was still trying to make amends and tried to make stupid excuses, but I wasn't having it anymore. I told him to F off. Next thing I heard was Megan and her friends were spreading rumors that I was the one who stole her man, talking about Asher, which is why they broke up, and that stealing Mark was her getting back at me. I was so speechless at that point that I didn't even give the rumor an ounce of my energy. I was a bit confident brushing off the rumors because our whole hometown knew how long Asher and I have been together, so nobody would believe all the crap that she's been spewing. Asher reached out to me saying he and Megan broke up because she was having an affair with another guy, shocker, who was apparently my boyfriend. I did not reply. That is the end of that story. OP, it is good that you are cutting off Asher and not replying.
Just don't date anyone from your hometown.
I'm glad that
no
you
more.
Broke up with Mark.
The fact that it's happened with 3 men.
She's clearly got it out for you, but I like that you're not giving it any energy. Do not give any of your energy
no
to
more.
Megan. Yeah. Megan's being a demon.
Megan is a demon.
So you either got to exercise it or get out of the house, right? If you live in a haunted house, Keon.
You stay. And you fight the ghost. You get out of that house.
Just leave, dude. Leave. You got to get out. Anyway, that's the end of the story.
My boyfriend says he loves me, but I'm getting messages from girls warning me about him.
Oh.
That doesn't sound good.
Both are true at the same time.
I, 22 female, have been in a relationship with my partner, 20 male, for over 2 years. The relationship with my partner is great. He's very sweet, attentive, pays attention to the little details, and loves spoiling me. And he always cares about my feelings, and he's always showing me how much he loves me.
Not like the last story we read.
No. By the way, this comes from lovely Jasmine10 on the OK Storytime subreddit. But in the past, 2 girls have contacted me on Instagram to complain about my boyfriend. The first girl contacted me saying this, hey, I know you're dating X, and I just wanted you to know that he's been texting me and saying some questionable things. Even if he's just joking, and I just thought I would let you know because it makes me uncomfortable in general, and it makes me especially uncomfortable knowing he has a girlfriend.
Girls supporting
Honestly,
girls.
Girl.
Shout out girls.
The screenshot she sent me wasn't anything bad in my opinion. There was a moment he asks her what she's doing. She responds with, we're going to eat, and then he answers with, D's nuts. As what she replies with, not funny. Depends on how well he knows this girl.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Then she texts me saying, I don't have anything else, unfortunately, but he keeps talking about giving him head.
Whoa.
Being
what?
a bit pushy, too. I wish I had more to give because I know I can't say anything without proof.
Where's the proof of? Yes,
Yeah,
you have the one screenshot. It says D's nuts.
Yeah,
That
the other
escalated
one,
so
the other
quickly
one's much worse.
From D's nuts to
To-
trying to get her to give you head.
Yeah, that's much more damning. After that, she sent me a screenshot she took from a snap he sent her. The picture was he was lying in bed, only showing his legs, but in black underwear.
Oh.
I know it was him because it was his room. And I also knew it was recent because in the picture, I was only able to see something that was mine. And I was able to see something that was mine. And I want to add that they dated in middle school.
Okay, well.
This is starting out real frisky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sending underwear pics to a girl? That's highly questionable.
Of his
Not good.
thighs.
Thighs. I thanked her and I apologized for what happened. I talked to him and he said that I was misunderstanding.
You don't get it, babe.
It's not what you think.
It's not what you think, but I'm not going to tell you what's reality.
Yeah, and that nothing bad happened, that he was just joking around. I asked him about the giving head part and he said it wasn't true. I didn't have the proof, so all I could do was believe him. That's not true.
What?
I don't think people are always like, oh, I needed the proof. You don't have to stay with someone.
Well, yeah, but
This isn't.
hopefully in a healthy relationship that, if someone's making an accusation of your boyfriend and
And
there's
they're
no
like,
proof that
sure.
you could trust your partner.
But there is proof of other things. I don't think you necessarily need the proof of, oh, I asked her to give me head to see that he's clearly being pretty sneaky and doing bad stuff.
So far it's very questionable. We don't know
yeah.
if you asked for head yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's already out even before that, without that proof. About the underwear, he said that his phone brightness was low, so he didn't realize that his thing was poking out a little bit.
Sheesh.
What? Break up with this man.
He didn't. It was dark.
And he even showed me and made sense, not really at the same time, because his phone is bright 24/7, and he doesn't like when we are watching videos on my phone and the light is low. Does that make it suspicious? But I believed him. Stop believing in him.
Well, we're about to add to the evidence with another person.
Then another person sent me screenshots of different snaps saying, run the pics and pull up and dang, do you have more pics of you?
Dude, this guy's an F-boy.
Tell me about you. Yeah. By the way, where you at right now? He's
Whoa.
clearly trying to cheat and
Yo,
no one's
what you
giving him
doing?
the time
It's
of
like 4
day.
a.m.
Yeah, the only reason he hasn't cheated on you is because no one wants to cheat on you with him.
Yeah.
I don't remember what exactly happened on this one in the end. I remember talking to him about it, but I don't remember what happened. But looking at it again, it makes me feel so weird.
This guy's an F-boy.
He's terrible.
Just the way he talks. Yo,
Yeah,
shawty,
he's
like,
where
pull
you
up.
at?
Pull up, baby.
Tinashe, where you at?
But for real, though, Tanashi.
The last one was with another girl who contacted me also
Wait,
through
a
Instagram.
third girl?
A third girl.
Damn.
After
Okay.
the first one.
Fool me once.
Out.
Fool on.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Fool me twice. Shame on me. Fool me 3 times?
F the
Shame,
peace
extra
sign.
shame on me.
Come on.
Oh, I mean,
shame,
yeah.
shame.
Probably has like a Facebook group against him.
Hey, I don't know if you know your boyfriend added me on Snap and was asking me if I was a throat goat
Oh my
or not
God.
for his
What the-
friend why.
Wow, this guy's wild. This guy's unhinged.
This guy is heinous and unhinged.
And I don't know how true that is, but I wanted you to know either way and probably have a talk with him about objectifying women like that because I don't know why they thought I'd be down for that. She showed me the proof. Finally, we have proof. I apologized to her and told her I was going to speak with him, which I did. And he said that he asked about it for his friend, but he understood that it wasn't right. And I got over it.
My
Girl.
friend
Girl.
wanted to know
Girl, you're
if
22.
you were a throat goat.
You're
This
22.
girl.
You're 22. I'm sorry. You're 22. You're not stupid.
This is wild.
I don't
You sound a
know.
little
Opie's
stupid.
kind of.
Sorry, you are stupid, but you shouldn't be. You're 22.
This is wild.
He's 20.
The
He sounds
way-
like an idiot.
Dude, the way he's talking, the throat goat, that's
You're insane.
so inappropriate.
He sounds so skibbity.
Why are you with him? Stop apologizing to the girls.
And stop apologizing for
you didn't do
your
anything.
boyfriend being
Just
ridiculous.
break up with him.
I'm so shocked. Like, what the other girls are like, hey, I gave you the facts. I gave you literally the details, and you're still with him.
She's like, well, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't have the proof.
I don't know what he meant by throat goat.
Like, girl, you're not in a court of law. There is no innocent until proven guilty. You can just break up with him.
But she got evidence the whole time.
She also has
of,
evidence.
like, inappropriate
He's
behavior.
guilty.
even
not from one person, from
Three.
multiple.
From 3.
You
It's
have
all-
the evidence.
It's
Leave
all
him.
different scenarios,
This
too.
is like, all right,
All that happened a year ago. A year? It's been a year.
it's been a year.
And I decided to believe him. But
This
even after all that, I believed him. Girl.
Well, this is like another story when OP was being so ridiculously
Yeah.
forgiving that
Yes,
Keon
I
got
remember
so
that guy.
pissed off. That was
Yes,
hilarious.
I am pissed off at you, OP, because what do you mean you believed him? He confessed. He confessed. He said, oh.
I did say that.
I did say
But it was
that.
like
I
for
shouldn't
a
have said
friend,
that.
I
It was for a
think.
friend, but I shouldn't have said that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. He confessed. OP, you're stupid. I'm angry.
It's gonna get worse. I think
You're
we're gonna
22 years old. This isn't even like, oh, they were 18. You're 22. I was 22 last year.
get what? Really?
Yeah, it shows.
Dang.
Thanks.
You're.
But I would never have
I
done
thought you were
this.
24. You're 23. Oh wow. You don't
It's
get.
true. I'm just a child.
No
She's
wonder you
just
don't
a
know who Tinashe
baby.
is.
I'm not a jealous person because I know that if I'm in a relationship with someone, it's because I trust them. And I know they're going to give me my place, and if they cheat, I'll find out one way or the other, no matter how much time needs to pass.
Oh my god. Oh my
so
god.
I don't stress about it. Girl.
Oh my god.
I think she's a
Girl.
little too secure.
You're too secure.
Too secure.
You're on the Titanic, and you're like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like everyone's
fine.
screaming and it's
Yeah.
drowning. It's like,
Like, guys, they said the ship was unsinkable.
They
We're
said we're
fine.
good.
We're
They're like
fine.
dying from hypothermia. She's like, we're good,
Like,
guys.
No way.
But more proof.
But a month ago, something happened.
More
Because for all that happened with him and Snapchat, he told me he was going to delete Snapchat because he didn't want to have more misunderstandings. Misunderstandings? I told him he didn't have to, but he said he was going to do it. So, continuing, a month ago, I needed him to help me with a math problem. He was on the couch, and when I got close to him, I saw him texting with a girl on Snapchat.
Oh, after he said he was going to delete it.
But then he turned off his phone. My heart started beating so fast. I went back to my room. I knew if I asked him about it, there was a chance he was going to delete the messages. So I went back and asked him if I could use his phone because I needed a calculator and I was using my phone to watch the YouTube explanation. He gave it to me. I know what I did was wrong, going through his phone without his consent, but I needed to know.
What do you think she's going to find?
Everything that he told her about. He already
Everything
told
he
you
already
about it.
admitted to. Oh.
If he told me before that he downloaded Snapchat, I would have been fine with it, but he didn't even have me added?
Yeah. So he was like hiding it because he wasn't even friends with her.
Oh, yeah. I went back to my room and started scrolling. My anxiety was going through the roof, and I didn't take the time to read. He went to my room and said, "Can I have my phone? I need to call Y, his friend." He did, and I gave him his phone back. There we go. When I typed Snapchat on his phone, it was gone. He deleted it in front of me while trying to call his friend and left the room because he needed to look for something.
Dang.
That made my anxiety worse. Why would he delete the app? I asked myself. Because he's cheating. He wants to cheat on you. Because he's texting other girls and asking to sleep with them, and they're refusing.
Well, he's not asking to sleep with them. He's just asking if they're throat goats.
Yeah.
So it's
simply.
way different.
It's
Sophia.
such a different.
Okay.
You're right.
Can we just be fair?
Yeah. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah. And he's asking for a friend, by the way.
Yeah, it's not for him.
Yeah.
When he came back, I confronted him about it. He got upset at me because I went through his phone saying that those chats are with people who trust him to open it, and he doesn't feel comfortable showing their messages, which makes sense.
She's his biggest fan.
She's like, yeah, that I get that.
Mhm.
I shouldn't have done that.
That was on me.
Oh, I told him to not show the other chats, just the one girl he was talking with. And he said no because she's opening up to him about her past trauma.
He's a respectful king.
She's like, she's opening up to me. in many ways, and I can't share that with you.
Some of them visual.
But you can open up to us by joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok. Just tap our profile.
Sometimes visual.
Sometimes visually. But there is a more to this story. But I'm kind of shocked how OP is still here.
Yeah.
I asked him to show me a chat with another female because I saw a few, and he said no. Asking me, don't you trust? Which I responded with, I used to. But right now I don't.
Yeah. Blow the hair.
Wait. Oh, it's the opposite way. There we go.
Josephine, you're wildin'.
I'm going to text all my friends if they're okay with you going through their messages. And if they say yes, I will show you, which upset me because I wasn't trying to be nosy and know all about their lives. Oh, so he was like, I'm going to text all my friends and ask them if I can show you their messages. So he's trying to make her feel bad, I guess.
Yeah.
All I wanted to know was if I was wasting my time or not. You are. In the end, he never showed me his phone and apologized, but asked me to understand his point of things.
Yeah, understand.
Say it. What is she?
You're dumb.
Oh.
You're dumb.
Say it.
You're 22, and you don't have any excuses to be
I
this
don't know
dumb.
about you. I'm feeling really stupid.
Exactly. Since then, I've just been thinking about it because he treats me with so much love, and he's never been distant. He always wants to spend time with me and makes me happy, so it makes it so confusing and hard.
I need relevant
comments.
comments.
I overthinking?
I need relevant comments.
You're underthinking.
Yeah.
You're underthinking. You only have one brain cell, and it's not working.
Damn.
It's not. You're
I
not
say we
using
be nicer to OP.
No.
I say
no.
we be nicer.
She needs tough love.
No,
tough
she doesn't.
love.
This is not even
Break up
tough.
with your boyfriend.
It's not
He's
even tough
cheating
love
on you.
anymore. It's not even tough love anymore. It's just God, you're stupid.
She wants to believe.
I don't.
She wants.
What does she want to believe? What is
I'm
she
sorry.
believing in?
What?
She
Love?
wants to believe that her partner is faithful to her.
But he's proven time. When someone shows you pictures and they say, "Hey, I'm being unfaithful to you," and you say,
we're all delusional and self-biased in our own ways.
I guarantee you, the boyfriend's like, nah, they're just jealous of you, babe. Like,
"Yeah, no,
you have
babe,
me.
you're the only one for me. These 10 other girls are meaningless."
These 10 other throat coats are meaningless.
Meaningless.
They won't talk to me. Yeah, babe. You know what they say. Shooters got to shoot.
they say
I
that.
simply am trying.
I heard they say that.
I'm actually practicing for you. I'm like trying to,
That's kind.
Yeah, it's consideration if you think about it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're actually not doing enough for me.
Oh. So OP needs to practice with other men at this point.
And then maybe also break up with your boyfriend.
Yeah, probably that too.
My male friend cheated with another friend. Now I'm revealing the truth to his ex.
You've got no male friends now.
I'm going to keep it as brief as possible and hope I'm conveying myself clearly enough. I will put my fear of being misunderstood to the side. By the way, this comes from user aggravating heat 938 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, first some context about me and my friend, then the main situation, and then the dilemma that I require your help with. Oh, great and powerful Reddit. I, 34 female, and my friend S, 42 male, have been friends for 12 years. We're going to call him Steve. We studied together, sometimes worked together, went on camping trips and weekends away, and generally are good friends, have good times, and are quite enmeshed and involved in each other's lives. We definitely have had our tiffs along the way, with feelings being involved, and often I just want to talk through a situation where he prefers to sweep it under the rug, the past is the past type of thing. For the most part, he's a fun-loving and caring person, full of positive energy and jokes. He is sharp and witty. Everybody loves him and his charm. But there are times when he's just kind of an a-hole, often to me. Sure, he thinks his a-holery is justified because if it often comes out when I have said something to someone else that he's deemed private or not necessary to share with people, not that he's ever communicated that beforehand. Over the years, I've learned how he prefers things, and I usually want to keep the peace, so just kind of fell in line. Personally, I don't see the need to hide or keep information from people, and not that I would want to tell everyone every bit about my life, but I do understand and see the point that sometimes being a bit dishonest can have benefits, or it makes things less complicated. Small white lies that don't hurt anyone. But it's not generally how I prefer to operate. Anyway, context done. time for the situation. Steve started dating a girl after a long-term relationship ended abruptly that really crushed him. He wasn't ready for anything serious, but the girl was super nice and sweet and made him feel good. Let's call her R. We're going to call her Rebecca. She was much younger than him, and he was her first great love. COVID happened, and they lived together for a few months. So that catapulted their relationship quickly. She was deeply in love with him and started picturing their life together, although she was a bit more conservative, aka no spice sleepy before marriage, and thus wanted to get married soon, which she told him up front. He, on the other hand, since I met him, said he's not the marrying type, but he really cared for Rebecca, so the relationship continued. I remember telling him early on if he knows they are not on the same trajectory or that he feels she wants to make things too serious too soon, that they should talk and perhaps take a break or even break up before anyone gets more hurt down the line. But he just said, sure, and carried on. In the time that they were dating, he and another longtime friend, W, 33 female, who we will call
Whitney.
Wimberly.
No, let's do Whitney.
No, let's do Whitney. Rekindled their friendship. They have had some on again, off again type of thing going for years. At times, they didn't speak for months, and then at other times, he has been her support and cuddle buddy when she and her boyfriend were going through rocky patches.
I don't like that.
I don't think you're supposed to have a male cuddle buddy when you're going through relationship problems.
Yeah, what is cuddle buddy?
Yeah.
Where is that job description?
Yeah. OP
What?
then immediately says, you can see where this is heading, right? Which we can.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Steve and Whitney began hanging out often. Rebecca had a job in tourism, which meant that most weekends she had to work. So there were several weekends when Steve, Whitney, and myself would hang out, although I was not allowed to tell Rebecca. Although there were more weekends where it was just the two of them. Several times I suggested that perhaps he and Rebecca should break up because clearly there are other things going on and that women have a good intuition to pick up on things, aka Spidey senses. At this time, I was told to stay out of his business, he's handling it, and that there is nothing going on, so there's nothing that the Spidey senses need to pick up. I also found out later that I was his cover-up / alibi on several occasions, aka Rebecca would ask Steve what he did this weekend and he would say he was hanging out with me. Now, don't get me wrong. In an ideal world, nobody would lie or would have to be sneaky, but unfortunately, this isn't an ideal world and we aren't perfect individuals and sometimes crap just happens. I get that, and I'm always willing to help out a friend. But then I do kind of expect that friend to keep me in the loop a bit and also to set things right somewhere down the line. For example, one of the more colorful situations, part of the main situation, was I walked in on Steve and Whitney going at it on a weekend away. And that was after the morning when I raised concerns again that he looked me straight in the eyes and said, that I know him and he would never cross that line, so there's nothing to worry about. Yeah, Steve's a liar.
No, that's just a little white lie.
Steve is a big fat liar.
It's a little white lie.
I believed him because before that point, I have always thought of him as someone with a high integrity and a very strong moral compass, although he did find joy in blurring some lines every now and then, even with me. Anyway, after the walk-in incident, he didn't want to talk about it or clear the air, and I thought surely he would now break up with Rebecca in the following week. OP, you little angel baby, that is so sweet of you to assume. Anyway, after the walk-in incident, he didn't want to talk about it or clear the air, and I thought surely he would now break up with Rebecca in the following week. Nope. They dated for another 6 months after that.
Shocking. But then OP, why didn't you tell Rebecca?
Well, because a little white lie never hurt anybody.
6 months.
Crazy.
6 months that's half a year.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, come on. It's code. You tell the girlfriend. At that point, you tell the girlfriend. I'm sorry.
It's not even code anymore. It's just logistics of being a good person.
Why am I saying sorry? I'm not sorry. Tell your friend that she's being cheated on. My friendship with him took a severe knock in these months. More often than not, he was a wienerhead to me, except when he needed something. Simultaneously, he had me sworn to secrecy and that it was none of my business how his relationship with Rebecca was going.
Is that how it works now? You swear secrecy and then that's your life? Like that? It's over? Like, if I tell Rebecca, I'm done. No. I don't understand that.
I had started making peace with the fact that this is how our friendship would end. And I would be very sad, but this whole situation gave me sleepless nights due to anxiety, dishonesty, and secrecy. It made it so that I couldn't trust him and actually felt unsafe in his presence, which is the one thing that I truly love in my male friendships, is that sense of safety. And it was gone. Eventually, Steve and Rebecca broke up. She phoned me in tears, asking all the right questions, and I, with my warped sense of loyalty to him, just said that I can't tell her anything, and that I'm really sorry she was so brokenhearted.
Why? Why?
I mean, at least the only thing I can respect out of this is that when OP says she's going to keep a secret, I guess she means it. It seems like OP, you can trust her with a secret. At some level, you gotta let the truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
I felt terrible. This poor girl was deeply in love with him, and he was reckless with her heart.
Like, Steve sucks, but OP, you are literally just helping Steve get away with it.
Yeah, she's the loyalty.
But you're like, I feel so bad for Rebecca.
Fast forward a year or two, my friendship with Steve is in a good place after several more tiffs. Each of us also lost a parent in the past year, so we were a great support to each other. We still have not really spoken about what had happened, and the few times I tried to get some clarity, he bit my head off and shut the conversation down.
What are you doing, OP? What does he add to your life other than stress and shame and loyalty?
Nothing.
That's not
Nothing.
good loyalty.
He adds nothing. He's taking your honesty.
He can't get away with
He's
this.
literally taking your morals from you. Somehow we have stayed friends, and he has expressed numerous times how much I mean to him, and we generally always have good times together as long as I never bring up anything from the past. He and Whitney started dating, and they are kind of made for each other because they have their own special kind of narcissism between them, obsessed with their reputations and aesthetics. But Steve seems happy, and that is what I want for my friends. They're getting married in 6 months. I'm sure that won't end in flames.
This relationship was built on lies.
Yeah, I am a groomsman. A groom's lady, if you will. By the way, if you want, you can join us live every weekday when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. If you're watching this in the future, we might even be live right now. So it's okay to cut bad people out of your life.
I want to know who's a bigger a-hole here.
I think OP is clearly not getting away with, like, OP, you are partially responsible.
You are, yeah. I think Steve is the
for
biggest,
maintaining
the
this
biggest a-hole. But OP, you are literally supporting that, and you're making him into a bigger a-hole. It's making us lose our peace of minds right now because, like, there's a missing puzzle piece here, and I just can't seem to figure out what that missing puzzle piece is of why OP is so loyal to Steve. I get it, you're friends. I get that, but you don't deserve, like, this is not a friendship. It seems like he's above you.
Exactly.
And, like, he's taking full control of you. I don't get that.
It's not a friendship because what did you just say? You were like, every time we hang out, we have a great time as long as I abide by all of his rules.
And whatever he says. And if I say something else, I'm out of line and he'll make me feel bad.
You can't be real with him. Recently, Rebecca contacted me because she wanted to return a book that she borrowed from me. She also rightfully said that I was in the wrong and that I should have told her because her Spidey senses were tingling like crazy. She felt like she was the last to find out and she feels humiliated. But she understood it came from a place of loyalty. I apologized for my part in it and said I think we should go for a glass of wine or 5 to have a chat. So here's my dilemma. Would I be the a-hole if I told Rebecca everything that happened during that time that they were dating? She said she also had some stories to tell. For example, that she once came to eat at the place that she worked. He admitted to her that he and Whitney were dating, but that Whitney didn't compare to her. And then he tried to kiss her. What the frick? Anyway, so would I be the a-hole if I played the open cards with his ex-girlfriend? Would that jeopardize my and Steve's friendship? So bad news, OP, you're already the a-hole.
Like I said.
Sorry, buddy.
Like I said.
You're already an a-hole in this situation. I don't think you would be an a-hole by telling Rebecca the truth of her relationship.
Because you should have told Rebecca the truth at the very get-go.
But it's blowing my mind that Rebecca apparently already knew about Whitney at some point. And again, continued to stay with Steve. What is going on with Steve?
Here is my thing with this. I would put myself in their shoes. So in case, like OP, if I were OP, I would put myself in Rebecca's shoes. I would have loved to known if I was being cheated on during my relationship, and especially like after we broke up, I would have wanted everything.
Yeah, this is not a The Weeknd type situation. I do want to know if you're playing me. That's the end of that story.
Let us know in the comments. I think both OP and Steve and Whitney, all a-holes.
Let us know in the comments.
Who's the biggest a-hole here? Let us know in the comments. I want to see. That's the end of that story, guys. Let us know in the comments. We'll see you in the next one.
My cousin's husband sent me explicit pictures. I don't know if I should tell my family.
Were they hot or not? That's the main factor.
If they were hot, no. If they were not,
if they're not, cool. If they're not hot, then yeah.
This is my first ever post, and it's a long story, so please bear with me. I, 26 male, have a story about my cousin, 31 female, and her husband, 35 male, that I'm seeking advice on, and that's what we're here for. For a little bit of backstory. I was never that close with my family growing up. They were all the athlete type, and I was the art student. It would be so quirky and different.
So quirky, unique, artistic.
By the way, this comes from FineCan9262 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, as a child, I would opt to sit in the corner and draw rather than play football in the yard with all the cousins at family events.
Wait, is this male or female?
Male.
Okay. Not like other boys.
So with that, I never really felt that close to majority of my family because growing up, I just felt like we were so different. I was the typical teenager who hated being at family functions and wasn't that social and dealing with mental health issues that I never talked about, which usually put a strain on my relationships with my parents and family. Anyways, on to the story. My cousin, let's call her C. I can only think
Carrie.
Okay. Carrie has been with her now husband. We will call him Derek for, I believe, 13 years at this point. An auspicious number. They got married in October of 2021. Prior to their wedding, I met Derek on a handful of occasions. But given that I grew up in another state from the rest of the extended family, we didn't see them that often, maybe a few times a year. Derek always seemed nice, but was very quiet. Kind of like a background character in comparison to my loud New York family, so I never really got to know him. For the engagement, Derek hosted a surprise birthday back in 2017. Fast forward a few years to COVID lockdown. At this point, I moved out of my parents to Florida, so seeing my family decreased even more in regularity. During the lockdown, I decided to drive back home to Pennsylvania for the 2 weeks. Oh, quote unquote. Lo and behold, it turned into nearly 3 months. 3 months? It was like a year for me. During this time, my family would have Zoom nights to drink over video chat and talk. They were quite fun, honestly. During one of these Zoom chats, I decided to form a group chat for the cousins on Snapchat. I added everyone to the chat, and then Carrie added Derek herself. He's not a freaking cousin. Why are we adding Derek onto the cousin chat?
If you're not a cousin, why are you in the cousin chat?
That's honestly,
that.
I'd be kind of peeved.
I'm peeved right now.
I'd be a little bit peeved.
I am peeved.
I'm Derek. I'm family.
If someone, because I have a cousin
Derek
chat.
again.
I have a cousin chat. If someone if one of them added their partners to the cousin chat,
You don't
That's
consider
weird.
them cousins? They don't become cousins?
well, I mean, not married. Their partner. So I don't know.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
but
even
also,
married.
yeah. I added everyone to the chat, and then Carrie added Derek herself. I don't mind this at all. The cousins love Derek, so it only makes sense for him to be in the chat with us.
I'm
Fine.
Derek. Come on. I'm the cool
Derek.
guy.
Derek! Derek then adds me as a friend on Snapchat. Since we didn't previously have each other's contact, but again, he's quiet, so he doesn't really say much in the chat either.
I don't mess with you, you know?
Spicy pigs speak louder than words. Here's where the timeline gets a little fuzzy in specific times. However, a few months later, Derek privately messages me on Snapchat.
Decent pics of his D.
I'm a very forgetful person, so I always change my chat settings to save the text in the chat. Derek doesn't like that and has me change it back, which I thought was weird, sort of a red flag, but whatever.
Yeah, what?
So on Snapchat, you can, yeah. And so Derek is like, change it back. I don't want you to be able to save them. Go back to the...
Yeah, if Derek said that to me, I'm like, you're not even in the family.
I'd be like,
Look at
oh,
the-
sorry, no, it's like, I'm not going to share it with anyone. It's just, I don't remember.
I'd still be very
I'd be so
weirded out. Like,
I'd
why
be
are you adding me
weirded
on
out.
Snapchat, brother?
No.
And with one thing that I added you, and then there's another like make a request on like your settings.
Yes, that. I would, that's a huge red flag. However, I soon understood why. He starts to open up to me, the gay cousin, about how he's bisexual. He does so in a more, I guess, aggressive way with the comments, which at first I just took as it's awkward for me to talk about this, so I'm going to make crude comments as a way for it to be funny kind of way. OP, the signs are staring at you
But
in the face.
What are the comments? I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm like,
He starts asking me questions about the biggest wieners I've seen and recommendations on porn to watch.
You think OP was just like kind of into it?
I don't know.
What kind of questions are these?
Conversations like these would be random and on and off every few weeks / months.
These are like the type of questions you get when you're like hammered.
Yeah.
And you're like been out all night, you've been bonding with someone, and then someone lets it slip, and you're like, we're drunk.
Come
Let's
on,
talk
it's
about
just
wild
cousin Derek.
stuff.
Come on, I want to know.
Eventually, he would make comments about his upcoming wedding and how he would get me my own room to F all his hot cop friends in after. At first, I thought it was just supposed to be a joke until he said, but only if I can watch.
So the rest of the stuff was like, that's weird, but people are weird. I don't know. And then that point is like the line comes down, and you're like, this is inappropriate.
I have in the past asked Derek why he won't be honest with Carrie about his sexuality, but this comment made me go in harder on the recommendation to talk to Carrie about this stuff.
Do you think
Yes.
Derek is gonna blame the cousin for ruining this?
I think that,
Carrie might?
I don't know if Carrie will,
No,
but I
like,
think that,
like Derek's like, oh, now I'm feeling some sort of way now that I'm like bisexual, and I blame it on your cousin.
yes. I think that happens in a lot of the stories that we read where, it's someone is trying, like, figuring themselves out, and maybe there's cheating going on, and then they put it all on the blame on the person that they were pursuing.
Like like you were my gateway.
Yeah. I hope not.
Drug, but gateway like.
But also, it doesn't seem like
person
he
to
has
the
that many morals.
sexuality.
So
We'll see. I don't know.
Derek's reasoning as to why he can't tell her is that she would be pissed and blah, blah, blah. Why would
Dude,
okay, if you think that she would, okay, if you are a queer person, why would you want to be in a relationship with someone who you don't think would accept you?
Boom. Say it for the people in the back.
I would always tell him I don't think she would and that he should be honest with her. He would continue to tell me no and how she'll think he's cheating on her. So the thing is that she wouldn't think that,
Until you.
but the thing is that you are kind of cheating on her.
Boom. You would only think that
If you
based
were
off of
cheating
your
on her.
actions right now.
He would then go on to make jokes about her spicy sleep life, saying things like, well, she cheated on me
Oh.
twice, and how she got effed on the kitchen
Oh.
table by like 3 different
Whoa.
guys during their brief breakup in college. And meanwhile, I'm just sitting here wondering why he's telling me this about my cousin's
Yeah,
spicy sleep
right?
life.
It's one thing to be like, yeah, I'm gonna be real, like she's cheated on me, but it's another to like give the intimate
Yeah,
details
it's
about
like, here's
someone's
a
cousin.
play-by-play.
Yeah.
I don't need to know that.
Dude, that's my cousin.
Again, if I were OP, I would have blocked this man months earlier.
I'm just confused why Derek has no one else he can talk to besides
See, oh man.
OP or besides his partner's cousin.
I don't know. I know I shouldn't have continued to engage in conversations with him, but I guess I just felt like I had to. Dude, you don't have to. You don't have
You
to.
don't have to do anything.
That like maybe I'm the only one he feels safe to talk about these things since I know what it's like to be gay. I know what it's like to feel like you can't talk to someone. I mean, he comes from a pretty right-wing Republican family, married a girl from another right-wing Republican family. He's part of the NYPD, stereotyping I know, but generally a macho man job. And as far as I know, has no other gay friends, so maybe I'm the only person he can talk to about everything. And even if that's true, he is making you uncomfortable and he is saying really weird crap. And you don't owe him anything.
The OP is sympathizing
Yeah.
and has, suffered internalized feelings of shame, and they've gone down that road and continue to. And it's like, it's sweet that you're like being open to receiving it, but at the same time, like, you still put down a boundary. And say,
Absolutely.
This is, while I sympathize with
Yeah.
you, this is inappropriate. I don't want these messages.
And also, you could totally still help him, or I think if you had put down boundaries earlier and said like, hey, you can't send these types of messages,
But I'm
but
open
I'm
to
open
talking
to
to you about
talking
your
yeah,
sexuality. Yeah.
exactly. Totally different. Would have happened, would have had a way different outcome. Eventually, his comments became more blunt and spicy sleep
Oh, no.
nature. He would ask me if he could show me his D so I can tell him if he's big or not, and that it's probably bigger than most.
If he's a
Dude,
grown man,
This is weird, dude. You're
this
weird
is like
now.
a middle school thing of like,
I would. No, it gets worse. I would always simply reply with, you do what you want. OP, you're now the a-hole. OP, you're now also the a-hole.
You're allowing.
You're enabling it.
You're
This is
enabling
so
this.
enabling.
You're not putting up boundaries. You no longer get to say, oh, well,
It's
I was
almost
trying, I was uncomfortable and I was trying
like
to
I
help
said,
him.
I kind of feel like OP is like, he's like, no, but like,
Stop.
send it
You can do whatever
anyway.
you want, but I'm not gonna like it.
Oh,
like,
no, no,
I
no.
think OP's like, this is wrong, but this is kind of.
Well, I think if this were my cousin's partner, I'd be like, from the get-go, I'd I'd be like, this is totally inappropriate,
That's
and
what
then
I'm
I go text my
saying.
cousin.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
have no loyalties to Derek.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why OP would have blocked Derek or
Yeah,
removed Derek
if he were a
immediately
good
right
cousin.
right off the bat. That's what I'm saying. I think OP's kind of into it.
Maybe. I mean, there was so many moments
Yeah.
for them to put down a line, and then for this almost feels like an invitation. Like you could do
If
whatever
you,
you
yeah,
want.
you can do whatever you do what you want.
It's bordering on invitation.
Sounds honestly could be. Maybe this is not what OP intended, but could be. You know, flirty. Could be
Because-
seen as flirty,
yeah,
especially by
exactly.
this guy who's been for months broaching this topic to see what he's,
Like,
what
How far
line
can I
is there?
go?
Is there
How
a
far
line?
can I go? How far can I go?
Yeah,
And
that's
just,
what
it's-
exactly.
And it's just like OP. You
And
know
OP's
it's
like,
wrong,
yeah,
and you're like, oh, that's gross. But
But so
keep
taboo.
telling me about it, or like, let me,
As I realized it's no longer my fault what he does, and I can't control him from doing / saying anything. Dude,
Okay.
that's not true.
You could tell someone you don't want to receive.
You literally
bare
could say,
minimum.
no, I'm not comfortable with this. Block him on Snapchat. Tell Carrie. There are so many
there's so many options. There's so many. There's not just like one door where it's like, oh, or like it's not even in person. It's literally through Snapchat
Yeah.
or like social media. You can block them.
Yeah.
You don't even have to open it.
Yeah. It's not like he's sending you like Polaroids and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know what this was when I
know what
opened
you
my
did
mail.
last summer. It's like no.
Yeah.
You have so many options to stop this, and you haven't
You're
stopped
choosing
it.
The one option. that is
the
least
worst
ideal.
option.
You're like, let me just open it. You're like, okay.
He's digging his own grave after all.
And you're handing
and
him the shovel.
You're giving him a shovel. Part of me also thought about how the more I let him say / do, the more information I could report to my cousin.
Yeah, but you're an accomplice at this point now.
Dude, this is very much giving like, yeah, and I was like, well, you should send more because I wanted to get more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a
Just
different
for
angle.
that
I wanted all the
reason.
angles.
You
so
could.
like,
You should kiss me so I could get
So I can tell
information on
my
you.
cousin on you.
I'm gathering evidence.
I never followed through with saying anything as I realized I have no proof since all communication is done via Snapchat. I forgot. Opie was like, oh, well, I'm trying to collect more information, but
But I
text
can't.
delete on Snapchat.
Yeah.
He literally let them delete. Oh my God.
All right, say the next line. Say the next line.
Okay.
It's fun.
He eventually sent me a picture of his D, and all I could say was that I've seen bigger.
dude.
Fine, he would tell me about how he would have fantasies about having spicy sleep with Carrie and her sister, even mention how he fantasized about their mom.
Now it's just going. This guy's just a freak.
It's weird.
He's going
just
off
This guy's no
track.
longer bi. This guy's just freaky.
Soon, I thought it was over as their wedding date grew near, and he hasn't messaged me these inappropriate things in a while. Fast forward to their wedding. The day was a crap show, and the wedding was the biggest political statement of a wedding I have ever seen.
What does that mean? But it's so wow.
I mean, they had the United States national anthem playing on the violin in the church right after Carrie walked down the aisle. He's like, I'm a man. We're gonna do manly things at my wedding.
Damn it.
You're gonna play Creed.
At the reception, in lieu of favors, a donation was made in our names to some first responders foundation and came with a little American flag lapel pin for everyone, which when all the older crowd put them on, the wedding looked more like an RNC event rather than a wedding.
That's so funny.
This is really funny. Even her something blue was a Blue Lives Matter patch with their last news sewn in the under part of her dress. Okay. Dinner had to start late because Derek was so wasted and couldn't come out in multiple ways.
But yeah.
They were trying to sober him up while we started dinner. Carrie sat at the bridal table alone at first. She was so pissed. They had a Frank Sinatra perform during dinner who invited all first responders up to the dance floor for a special song.
So American.
Dude, just imagine like we gotta hire Frank Sinatra,
We
this
gotta hire
imitator. Yeah.
Derek could barely stand up and he threw up during the performance,
Oh.
nearly all over Carrie and her
This is a
dress.
crap show.
A few months go by, and I'm at work when Derek messaged me asking if it's cheating to work off with his friends.
Work out. Work out.
I was completely taken aback by this random message and just continually responded to his questions with that it depends on what he and Carrie have set to be considered cheating in the relationship.
That's true.
Why are you still responding? He said he didn't think it's a big deal, and I told him it might not be to him, but could be to her, and that's why they need to have open conversations about their boundaries and set expectations for the relationship.
OP is so like patient. With
Yeah, why? Literally, OP, you're an accomplice.
Depends on the agreements of your relationship, and maybe that's something that you should communicate maturely with your partner. And also, like, yeah, you could send me your pic.
I love that this went from OP being like, yeah, I didn't really ever talk to Derek. He was kind of quiet, to this.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't going through to him no matter how many times I told him he should go talk to his wife about this. A few more months go by, and I'm on Snapchat playing with random filters out of boredom during a hurricane when I suddenly come across one that makes me do a double take. It was one of those filters that puts a photo on your cheeks, and I couldn't tell at first what it was, but at first glance, it looked like gay corn. Until I realized it was just a gif of some guy. I thought it was funny and sent a photo with the filter saying, at first I thought this was gay corn, into the cousin group chat. Derek almost immediately messaged me privately and said, might only be us who like the filter.
Well, it's like, yeah, solidarity. Like, we're...
Stop. Not you two.
Derek got me, guys. What can I say?
I sort of just was over him messaging me, so I decided to make an excuse saying the storm is messing with my Wi-Fi, so I need to change the chat settings to not delete in case. He agreed, but immediately comments, or so you can tell everyone. I then continue the conversation with him while using my roommate's phone to film my screen. This way he doesn't get a notification of screenshot/screen recording. This conversation sadly was a more tame one, but was very similar to the other recent one from when I was at work. I tell him he should be honest with her. He says he can't. I explain how most relationships end in cheating due to one person not being honest about what they want/their desires. He makes snide comments about how she cheated on him behind his back twice, and so on. If you're not over it, then why are you still with her? Again, I got nowhere with him, and eventually he went to bed, making sure he changed the chat delete back to normal before doing so. All very suspicious to me, but in the end, it's not my circus, not my monkeys, and I don't feel like I have any sufficient evidence to bring forward to my cousin anyway.
He goes, it's a little suspicious.
It's
like
literally,
this whole thing hasn't been wildly inappropriate.
Dude, it's literally your circus and your monkeys. You're related to the circus and monkeys. I bring all of this information up to my older brother one day, saying that I have information that may destroy Carrie's marriage, expecting to gain some advice on what to do.
Also, you could have done this before
she was married.
She was married to someone who was being wildly inappropriate.
I really don't like OP. However, my brother just has a, why would you do that? It's not a big deal attitude, and tells me how Derek has sent him nudes of other women in the past and such. So your whole family kind of sucks. Okay.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like sent him nudes.
No, of other women in the past.
Okay. But what? Like women they know, or like women
I don't know.
on the internet?
I sort of just forgot about this whole thing after a while, and I haven't got any message like that since, as I believe I made him nervous after the last interaction. But recent events brought this all flooding back to me as Carrie just announced to our cousin group chat that they're pregnant.
Ugh.
Immediately, I got hit with a sense of guilt. Good.
Yeah.
And think I should have said something to her earlier, but now I feel that it's too late to do so. Absolutely should have done it way earlier, but it's never too late to tell her.
Yeah, you should tell her, but it's too late.
It's too late for
in terms
you.
of the damage you've done.
Yeah, you've already done a lot of damage, but it's not too late for her to get out of it. The baby is now born, I believe 3 or 4 months old. I feel so guilty for not saying anything before and now don't know what to do. Not only may this destroy my cousin's marriage, but could also now result in a child's parents getting divorced. By the way, it would never destroy us if you joined us live on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile every weekday. And there is a little bit more to this story. But
I feel like
I'm frustrated.
Exhausted.
I'm so angry. Because the whole time OP's got this kind of like yes, just very, very like that attitude of being like, oh, well, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything wrong. And you are doing something wrong by letting this man who was dating your cousin, now married to her, letting him like send you all of these inappropriate things,
messages, photos,
obviously wanting to cheat or maybe is cheating with other people, and you do nothing. Because you're like, oh, well, it's not my business. It's
being
your cousin.
Complicit, and it's enabling, and it's allowing to be involved in someone's cheating.
Yeah. And also, I think, like, you know, sometimes people aren't that close to their cousins. It seems like they're close enough to have, like, a cousin group chat, which not everyone has. Yeah. This is just, I really, really don't like OP. I thought maybe I should talk to my parents about it, but that's awkward as hell. I feel like I can't straight up tell Carrie as I don't have a lot of physical evidence. Dude.
This isn't like
This
a
isn't
crime
like-
scene.
yeah.
Like, you could just
Tell
hopefully
her.
your cousin's gonna trust you
Just
when
be
you're like,
hey.
they're messaging me this stuff.
Yeah, I've been receiving this for a while. Since I was never close to my family and disagree with them on a lot of topics, I fear they won't believe me and make me out to be the villain. You are.
You could have
You're not the
recorded,
main villain, but you're sure as hell the sidekick villain.
You could have recorded.
You're the
They-
henchman.
They recorded it on with someone else's phone.
Yeah.
Like a long time.
You
for-
could have done this
after-
way
Yeah, you
earlier.
could have done it like a year ago.
Which is just a load of mental turmoil I don't want to deal with, but this information is also mentally draining. In the end, if they don't believe me, I don't care about having a close relationship with my family. However, my family is all really close, so it will be very uncomfortable at events, and I know my parents will be upset to have the family fall apart like that. So my question is, how do I handle this? Do I or do I not tell Carrie about this? Am I the a-hole for not telling my cousin about all of these conversations her husband had with me in the past? Or am I the a-hole as a gay man if I out someone to the world, my family, his family, their friends, etc.? One, you are the a-hole for not telling your cousin about all these conversations. And I totally understand not wanting to out someone, but you don't have to tell your whole family. I don't think you should. I think you should just go straight to Carrie and say, hey, I've been receiving a lot of inappropriate messages and I don't feel comfortable and I think you need to know. Regardless of someone's sexuality, you have a right to, I mean, it doesn't seem like you were that uncomfortable, honestly. But she, you know.
There was even stuff not related to sexuality that was
Yes.
still inappropriate.
Him
that you
sending,
could
which you could
share.
bring up. If you're like, oh, if that's the thing that's, you know, stopping you about outing him, then you can bring up the fact that he sent your brother women's spicy pics.
Yeah, there's, like Sophia was saying, this has been going on for so long, and it is impossible not to look bad in this situation because OP, you look quite
You look
bad.
pretty bad. But that is the end of that story.
I caught my husband using a spicy dating app. I got them arrested.
From apps to handcuffs. True love story.
Hi, y'all. Using a throwaway account because I don't usually use Reddit. I've literally just found this out, so apologies if this is a bit scattered. I, 34 male, have been with my husband, Richard, 41 male, for just over 10 years, married for a year. We've been on holiday in Spain, Torremolinos, for a
Nice.
month. As most probably know, Torremolinos has a big gay scene. It's like 25% of the population. I did not know that.
I didn't know
Some
that either.
context, we were thinking of moving here. More difficult because of Brexit. We're British. By the way, this comes from user aggravating act 8397 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, Richard loves going to the bars in the evening. I, though, have very bad social anxiety, so I don't enjoy it so much. Most nights, he goes out without me, which was fine because I had 100% trust in him. Tonight, after dinner, he brought me back to the apartment we've rented and he was going to go out like usual, but he dozed off in the bedroom. I heard him snoring, so went to check on him. His phone was next to him with Grindr open, with a bunch of messages to some Spanish guy. Spicy pics, intimate words of what would be done. I'm trying to keep this PG, but you get the basic idea, hopefully. Richard was saying how long he was there for, and I think they might have been arranging to meet up. I'm not exactly sure though, because as soon as I saw the Grindr messages, my head was spinning and I felt sick and betrayed. It was such a flip of emotions going from, aw, my lovely man has fallen asleep, to extreme distress. I woke him up immediately. He claims he was just bored and needed some validation and wasn't actually going to do anything. Richard has had some confidence issues since turning 40, even though I regularly tell him how gorgeous he is. I don't know what to think. It's late at night now, so I don't want to get into a full-blown discussion about it. I don't know if I'm being paranoid, but even in England, every time I even went near his phone, he would freak out. I just thought maybe he was worried about me dropping it. I have dyspraxia, so I'm pretty clumsy. Richard would also regularly forget to wear his wedding ring. He does have eczema, so he takes it off when he's using ointment. I'm just all over the place right now. Not even going to bother trying to sleep. I'm here venting because I don't know what else to do right now. Here is the update. Hello, lovely ladies and gents. Thanks for the advice on my original post. It's been a crazy couple of days, but I have an update. Sorry, it's a bit long, but a lot has happened. In the morning, after getting zero sleep, I asked Richard to show me all the messages he had sent. He said he deleted Grindr, but I got him to re-download it. Richard was sitting across the table from me, and suspiciously, it was taking it a while to download. Well, I'm not stupid. I could tell he was deleting stuff. Little did he know I had taken screenshots. Sure enough, when he handed me the phone, all of his responses had miraculously vanished. Only the stuff the Spanish guy had sent was still there. This idiot tried to gaslight me into thinking he hadn't responded. When I showed him the evidence, he said he didn't remember it because he was wasted. He was full of apologies, saying he would never actually do anything, blah, blah, blah. When that didn't work, he said I was overreacting and needed to get over it. Then he got angry and nasty, saying because of my anxiety, I would be nothing without him. Finally, he stormed off and left the apartment. Weirdly, after all of that, I didn't even feel sad, just empty. And shortly after, petty.
Uh-oh.
I sent the screenshots to his mother. So she knew the type of man she had raised. I blurred out the graphic parts of the pictures. She didn't need to see that.
Wow, OP's good on that part. Good for you, OP.
Good for you. Then I noticed that the Spanish guy, who we will call Señor P, had used his full name. After some social searches, I found out he had a boyfriend. Turns out I actually sort of knew the boyfriend. We'll call him A for Alejandro. Quick context, me and Richard were thinking about buying and running a bar when we moved to Spain. We've had several trips to Torremolinos prior to the month stay, so we were asking people who own bars for advice and getting to know them. Alejandro has owned a very successful bar for 5 years. He's British and speaks fluent Spanish. As he's our generation compared to most of the other bar owners, Alejandro is 35, and we got to know him very well. He's a lovely guy and very forthcoming with advice. Anyway, back to the tea. I decided to let Alejandro know exactly what Señor P had been up to. The bar works as a cafe during the day, and Alejandro usually is around. So I headed down there. I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't really gone anywhere here on my own due to my social anxiety, but my determination overcame it. Alejandro was there, so I asked to have a quiet word with him and showed him the screenshots. He was livid. He'd only been with Señor P for around 6 months, but he was living with him. He knew Señor P was at his home that day, so he went to confront him. After I told him how Richard had stormed out, he suspected he might have been there as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy. Extremely dramatic right now.
I'm excited, but also... let's see how petty. I want to see how petty OP can really get.
Let's see where this leads.
I feel like that's the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm. He offered me to come with. I was nervous because I'm really bad at confrontation, but Alejandro convinced me. He has plenty of staff at the bar, so him leaving it wasn't a problem. We hopped in his car and drove down to the house. Alejandro has a 3-bedroom home, and it's really nice. Anyway, you can probably guess what we found. Richard in bed with Señor P.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
Caught in the act.
Oh my God. Now, Alejandro is a 6'4" muscular guy, so he had no trouble dragging them both out of the house, stark naked, and throwing them out. Richard tried to fight back and ended up with a bloody nose. When Richard saw me, he said since I assumed he had cheated, he might well have gone and done it now since our relationship was over.
Dude.
That is, again, so pathetic.
Dude,
Richard
you
is
suck.
pathetic.
You suck.
Pathetic. Like Rachel from Friends, I said, well, you had a heck of a time at the funeral. I'm not usually that quick. I'm a pretty quiet guy, but I was fuming. Alejandro called the cops, saying there were some crazy naked guys outside, and Richard and Señor P got arrested. Nice.
Nice.
I am only here for another week, so I was thinking of getting a cheap hotel room, but Alejandro offered for me to stay with him. Like I said, there's 3 bedrooms, so plenty of room, and Alejandro says that he needs to get rid of the defiled bed, so I'll help him out with that. Alejandro's going to help me get my stuff from the apartment. Hopefully, he can get it done before Richard's out and about. Not sure about how long he'll be held for. I might update as things progress. There's a lot going on in my head right now, so hopefully people won't mind if I don't do it for a while. And there is an edit. Okay. Some of you seem to think that because of my anxiety, I couldn't have done any of this. Thanks. You sound like Richard. Yeah. What? That's not.
Oh, yeah.
Why are people saying that?
All right. Thanks, Reddit.
It's called overcoming your obstacles. I have social anxiety when it comes to larger groups of people, but when it's one-on-one or people I know, it's not as bad. Like I said, I know Alejandro pretty well. Also, that's the thing with anger and adrenaline. In the moment, it helps. If you think I was completely calm and collected while all this was happening, you couldn't be more wrong. I was bricking it. I pretty much let Alejandro handle everything. And here's a second update. Hello, everyone. I have a small update. I'm still in Spain. I was meant to fly back Tuesday, but I've extended my stay. The idea of flying back on my own is terrifying at the moment. I'm self-employed, so it's slightly more flexible until I need to go back. I assume Richard has gone back. I don't know, though, since I've blocked his number. I've let family and friends know the whole situation. Alejandro helped me get my stuff while Richard was detained, and I had a friend get my stuff from the house in England. I just left my wedding ring behind.
Just like how Richard leaves it behind with the eczema. And
go ahead and leave that behind.
Good on Alejandro, too. Alejandro is like a very understanding guy and understands OP situation. Good friend Alejandro.
We also support Alejandro and OP. Today, Alejandro confessed that he has feelings for me, which was a surprise because honestly, I just thought he was being kind. Richard used to say he could tell Alejandro liked me, but I just thought Richard was being silly. There's definitely attraction there, but I'm not in the headspace to start anything new, especially after being in a 10-year relationship. It would have been 11 this Saturday.
No,
wow. But we'll always support you guys rushing into our live streams whenever we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok. Just tap our profile and you're in.
Richard's out. OP's gone. It's just now the situation with OP and Alejandro. Where does that go? As long as Alejandro is understanding, great. You're about to hit your 11 mark, your 11-year anniversary. That's rough.
Alejandro is not putting any pressure on me. He just wanted to say how he feels so that I know. Emotional maturity.
Richard, Alejandro, yeah.
Yes. Good Alejandro. He's also just had a relationship end, but he wasn't in love with Senior P, so it's a bit easier for him. I'm just very kerfluffled in my head right now. I let him know that the feeling is mutual, but that I'm not in the right place at the moment. He's very understanding of everything and very lovely about it. He's even offered to fly back with me so I don't have to go on my own. He was planning to see family in England anyway since it's nearing festive time. So yeah, just a small update to let you all know how things are progressing. I might update once I'm back in England and feeling less overwhelmed. Thanks for the nice comments people have been leaving. I very much appreciate it. And that is the end of that story. I really hope there is an update at some point
that they
have a very successful, thriving bar in Torremolinos.
And just have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's the end of that story, guys.
Am I the a-hole for wanting to break up with my girlfriend because she wants to peg me? This is OKOP, home to the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Sophia, and John, is OP the a-hole?
Well, I know there's definitely an a-hole involved somewhere in the mix there.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it depends on, like, if OP's like, I'm not into that, then it's kind of like, okay, that should be it, right?
I think based off of nothing.
Yeah.
No context. I think, you have to respect your partner's wishes and whatever they're comfortable with.
Respect the boundaries, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm going not the a-hole.
Yeah. But on the other side, if your partner is into pegging, don't be like an a-hole and be like, that's disgusting. Yeah. Like, leave it at like, hey, I'm not comfortable with that.
That ain't me.
Don't shame other people's stuff.
Yeah. Let them have it. Boom.
Anywhoozy. So, Rory, Pick Me Girlfriend says, we've been together since senior year of college and have talked about marriage. We're not exactly adventurous, just normal stuff, but we've been trying a few more things lately. She said that she really wants to try pegging. She said we've already done it, so I shouldn't be too opposed. Except we only did it because she wanted. I can take it or leave it. I told her that I would never agree to pegging and she'll just have to forget about it. She brought a strap on to try to convince me it wasn't that big of a deal. No kink shaming, but I have no interest and don't want to try.
Yeah, like,
yeah. If you don't pressure.
God.
She said that if I don't do it, she'll never be able to experience it. I half jokingly told her if she keeps pushing it, she'll be free to experience it with whoever she wants.
Ooh.
She started to cry.
Oh, man.
Should I just do it because she wants to, or should she respect my decision and drop it? I think people should respect your, you
Dude.
got to respect your decisions.
Yeah.
She really wants to crack this guy's cheeks. She is just going for it.
A bit of context, we were both raised in evangelical churches and have since left. What's adventurous to us is pretty tame to many. It's also why we have difficulty discussing consent and boundaries. Discuss those consent and boundaries.
Discuss them.
Discuss those. Those are
Discuss 'em.
important.
Wait, I'm sorry. How is this pretty tame? I don't see.
This is.
Do you think it's tame?
No.
I think
But-
I think it depends on.
Yeah, I
How
guess.
freaky you are.
Yeah. I guess it depends. Yeah, on your
I think
your
it depends on the relationship.
frame of reference.
Yeah, maybe for like straight men, but it's tame for other people.
Yeah, Riley.
Riley.
That's a lot.
Why don't you get pegged, okay?
Yeah, Riley.
Come on.
Anyway, there's an update.
Thank you.
Riley's been saved by the bell.
Thank you to everyone that took the time to comment and share advice. It really helped me. Here's the update. We broke up.
Oh.
Nah. JK. She's next to me on the couch, bugging me to rub her feet. I guess she hasn't learned anything about consent.
Hopefully not with the.
Whoa. The real update is positive, especially for our relationship. A lot has happened. I took advice from the comments to have a conversation about boundaries, consent, and focusing on things we were both comfortable exploring. She agreed it was a good idea. Yay! I'm glad that was positive.
That's good.
Hell yeah.
Good God.
We were really naive and unprepared for all this. We thought we could figure it out as we went. She asked if I was willing to share the websites I was finding this info on so she could read them too. I told her that I posted it on Reddit. Actually, lucky I did since someone made a TikTok about my post that she saw, and she probably didn't want to see it. The comments were universally against her. She asked me to show her anyway. She read the post and some of the comments. She said she knew that she was wrong, but was a little surprised by how negatively people reacted to her. I asked why she cried, and it was because she was upset I would even joke about breaking up. That's fair.
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to manipulate me by crying. She thought we were just having a conversation. I told her she wasn't listening to me and how uncomfortable I was. I was trying to find an exit ramp for the conversation, not seriously talking about breaking up. I also apologized because I was wrong to joke like that. She admitted she wasn't sensitive to my boundaries and was just focused on what she wanted. She recognizes that behavior is really toxic, and she would think I was an a-hole. Yes, that's a pun. If I kept ignoring her boundaries. She also apologized for buying the toy and agreed it was manipulative. I'm glad they're talking. It seems like they're really talking it out.
Hashtag free OP's cheeks, yo. We gotta keep OP's cheeks protected.
Yep. Save the sphincter.
Save the sphincter.
I think this relationship is solid.
It definitely, I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning I was like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. But it seems like we're coming to a much better
place.
Consensus.
A safer place.
Yeah.
OP continues. One commenter suggested a yes, no, maybe list. This advice has made a world of difference. We found some examples that helped us create our own. We agreed to be honest, no judgment, and not to pressure the other person on anything they put no or maybe on. We agreed that the list was just for discussion. It didn't imply consent. We would discuss everything, and we are free to change our minds at any time. If you were wondering, I marked pegging as no for me, and she checked yes.
Free the cheeks.
She will not bring it up again unless I change my response, but I'm glad she was honest. There is still some awkwardness surrounding enjoying it, exploring it, and even talking about it. We're giving each other grace and allowing for mistakes and misunderstandings. There are plenty of things we're both willing to do right now, not to mention just regular weekdays is pretty great. The rest of the update is about our future, not really related to the original post. So let's pause here. Let's just take it in. It seems like they're doing great.
I'm proud of them.
I'm proud of them.
This is a pretty big,
especially coming from like an evangelical church religious background and being like, okay, we don't know a lot about consent and boundaries. Let's learn about it and then have a discussion. Seems like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Vibes. Well, there's more. When we were having our discussions about communication, we also started talking about our relationship with each other, Jesus, and church. Oh, that was right.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly
Unexpected turn
here.
We realized we missed belonging to a church community, but wanted to find one that fits our values, not our parents. We found a nice church. My family would call it Church Light. We just started going and they were very welcoming and the people are very nice and accepting. One of the reasons we joined was we wanted to be married in a church. That's right, we're engaged. Yay.
What?
We were already thinking of marriage, but these last few months, we've really solidified our commitment to each other and our future together.
Aww.
That's so sweet. She told her parents and they didn't give us their blessing.
Oh.
That's awkward.
That's not nice. We were expecting that. Her parents are very traditional. They won't visit us because we live together and made it clear the last time we visited them that they don't approve of us and our views. My fiance, girlfriend at the time, told her sister she was on birth control and also said that they should get the HPV vaccine. They are adults and can make their own choices, but her parents don't see it that way. That caused a poop storm. We weren't invited to Christmas. Whoa, this just got
Are you kidding
crazy.
me?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy. Not invited to Christmas? Wow, okay.
That's so, yeah.
All
that's
right.
sad. My parents weren't happy. They aren't as strict about things, although I can't deny the fact that I'm their son, not daughter, plays a part in it. My mom just wants us to have kids so she can be a grandmother. I know my fiance wanted her mom to be involved in the wedding planning, dress shopping, and all that, and for her dad to give her away. She's really disappointed and we're hoping they change their minds, but we're not expecting them to. We aren't going to have a big wedding since we're paying for it all, but it will be what we want, and it's for us, not anyone else.
So the parents are basically not going to be at or involved in the wedding at all, it seems like, right?
Yeah. It's or on her side.
On her side, sorry.
Wow. That's really sad. It was just such a happy story.
It just like over something like living together and telling like honestly at that point I'm like, I'm sorry, but do you actually love your kid?
Like,
I'm
no.
so sorry.
I just can't,
But,
like,
like-
there's like so many situations where like parents like abandon their children over like, you know, like over them, like their child living with another person or being queer. And it's like, you
Yeah.
just don't love your kids. You're just not a
It
good
just
parent.
drives me insane that they
Yeah.
pick these like I
These
get
hills to die on.
I get growing up and having a certain thing in years and that being hard to break through. I honestly totally recognize and understand that that's like can be a long journey sometimes. But if like my child, I could never imagine.
I could not imagine.
My child?
Yeah.
I could never.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-mm. No, that's bonkers.
Anyways.
Anyways, you know what else is bonkers?
What?
This next story that you're going to read us.
Let's get married to it.
I caught my husband cheating with my sister in the kitchen that I paid for. I feel like that's a thing.
They're cooking up something evil.
I can't move. If I move, it becomes real, and I have to accept what I saw and think of what's next. I came home from work early and saw my sister's car, thinking maybe she was dropping off some food from her job. But no, I walk in and I see my husband and sister naked in the kitchen that I pay for. By the way, this comes from Cheaters Suck 12 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. As soon as I registered what I saw, I got into my car and left. I kept driving until I found the hotel I'm at now. I don't want to believe it. I don't know what to do. My sister, my only family, my best friend, the one who's supposed to be there for me and support me. My husband, my person, my other half, the one who's supposed to love and respect me. The two most important people in my life have ruined everything. I've blocked them both on my phone. I don't want to hear any of the BS excuses that they'll come up with. I don't want to confront this. I want to go back to this morning when everything was fine. There are comments already. XMCIT says unblock them and just let their calls go to voicemail. Turn the ringer off for each of them in your contacts. That way you can get recorded proof of their apologies and excuses via voicemail. You may need that type of proof for your divorce. That's a good point. 90 days croak. If they leave voicemails, OP will still have those saved under blocked messages. At least I know that is how it is with iPhone. Just in case OP may feel like they need to keep them blocked for their own mental health. I feel like if it was me personally, I would need to. There is another update. Sorry for not replying to comments and not updating. Things have been hectic. I didn't think I needed to explicitly say this, but they were butt naked and effing in the kitchen. I admit mentioning that I paid for the kitchen was odd and kind of funny. But anyone that knows me knows that the kitchen is my pride and joy. So yes, when I saw my sister and my husband effing in my kitchen, it stuck with me. And yes, they did see me. When I got to the hotel, I cried for a few hours and then I just wanted to tell someone, anyone. The two people I would talk to when something happened in my life were the two I needed to talk about. And it was 11 something in the evening, so I wasn't going to disrupt my friends' evenings and burden them. So instead, I came to Reddit thinking not many people would see it. The response I received was overwhelming. I want to say thank you to everyone that sent me kind words and advice. Thank you so much for all the virtual hugs. I only commented once. That is because I had so much to think about and do. I appreciate all the love and support. There was so much amazing advice given in the comments. Although a lot of it was American based, I still appreciate it. But one thing I did see a lot was to unblock them and keep the texts and calls as evidence. So I did do that. Nice. After posting and another good cry, I knew that I had to get my crap together and I didn't have my sister or family to help, so I had to do it myself. I started researching what my next steps were. In the morning, my friend called me saying my sister contacted her wondering if I had been in contact with the friend. I told her what happened and she very kindly offered her spare room and her day off work to help me sort stuff out. That's a good friend. That's right there. Friend. I called in sick in my job and my friend helped get things done. I got in contact with my friend who works at a bank and she helped me start sorting my financials. My friend also found me a lawyer to consult with. After my phone consultation with the lawyer, I was so overwhelmed. I now know why so many women don't divorce their cheating husbands. Dang, just because of the paperwork? Yeah. It's such a lengthy, expensive, and emotionally draining process. I, fortunately, make a stable income and can support myself, and we, fortunately, don't have kids. I have to remember that things aren't going to happen in one day. It will all take time. As for the house, unfortunately, his parents bought it for us, and to be honest, after what I saw, I don't want it. I will try to get reimbursed for my beloved kitchen. Otherwise, it can burn for all I care. This has been super draining, but I knew I had to talk to them. I already knew that there was no coming back for my husband, and when I checked his messages, they said exactly what I thought they would say. I'm sorry. It's not what it looks like. We didn't mean for it to happen. Please come home. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. Just absolute BS. A small part of me thought maybe I could find it in me to forgive my sister as we only have each other. But after I opened her messages, all hope was lost. She used the same excuses we heard our father use when he cheated on our mother. She said the same things our mother would say when she would excuse her dad's behavior. I spoke to her this morning and asked her to tell me straight up who, what, where, when, and why. She told me back in July when I went on a girls' trip, she was at our house and joked to my husband that I would cheat on him on the girls' trip because that's what always happens. He said nah, and they joked about it, but she said he could even get with her, and they ended up doing it once. One time led to 2 to 3, then to whenever they could. There was never any evidence or signs or anything that I was going to or even thinking of cheating. Yeah, that's crazy. This is all off of like a hypothetical joke / stereotype, you know, of like what happens, and then she's
I think she wanted him and tried to find a way to get him.
Yeah, I agree. I told her we were done and there is nothing she could do to bring us back together. I later received a call from an unknown number. Spooky. It was my mother, who I haven't spoken to in 7 years. Oh my gosh, this is getting juicy. Turns out my sister had been in contact with her and told her what had happened, and my POS mother had the audacity to say this is what I get for taking her daughters away from her. Girl, what? Yeah. This is open up family drama? Oh my goodness. It hurts so much. I know things are going to get messier and this is going to be a long few years. I've now lost all my blood relations. I need to get all my crap and find a new place. I want to show them that I can and will thrive without them. Again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all the love and advice. And to all the people in the comments saying that they could relate to me, I'm so sorry. We need to like debrief that for just a second.
That is wild that, you know, the two people that you have in your life did this. It seems like everyone's owning up to doing it, but bringing your mom back into this mom does not seem like a great person.
And then that also almost brings me to my point with like the last story that we read, where it's like, you know, the sister is cheating or like, you know, being a homewrecker, whatever. And the dad also cheated. And then the mom defended it. So it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that sister would think like, oh, it's not that bad because like they were fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When meanwhile, the other sister is like, hang on.
Time out.
Hang
Let's look
on.
at this right.
Nuh-uh. Yeah, that's crazy. But there are some relevant comments, so let's get on into it. Fat Shiz Crazy says, your sister basically instigated the whole thing, and you had best believe this was very intentional on her part. She waited until you were gone, then went around to your husband and told him that you would cheat on him, and he was stupid enough to go along with it. I'm not condoning your husband at all. He is definitely trash, but your sister is definitely the worst here. You sound like you have great friends around you, and I hope that you can get in for some therapy, as well as this level of betrayal is huge and devastating. Make sure you tell everyone exactly what happened and shame both of them. No one will think the worst of you. They will see them for the disgusting a-holes they both are. Oh, and there's an update. There's an update number 2. Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
I actually forgot about this account until recently. When I logged back in, I saw so many people still commenting, messaging me, and checking up on me. To those people, thank you for your kindness. Since so many of you still ask for an update, and I've already shared such a big part of my life, I may as well give a small update. Back in October, my life was in chaos, but I was determined to soldier through it and show them that I can make it without them and succeed. I had to meet with my ex to talk about the house, and he kind of gave up, and we decided to sell the house. I was reimbursed for my beloved kitchen. At first, my sister would show up at my job and maybe friend's house, and once I told her that I would get the police involved, she stopped. I haven't seen her since February. I did hear from my pathetic excuse of a mother again, but that was also shut down, and I have not heard from her since the end of last year. I'm from New Zealand, so my ex and I have to be living separately for 2 years before we can divorce. Although I want nothing to do with him, I'm not too fussed. 1 year is almost done. But we wouldn't be too fussed if you joined us live on YouTube and on Facebook and on TikTok every single weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
Easy money.
That's all you gotta do.
She got reversed for the kitchen.
W's. She got the money back for the kitchen that was the crime scene of this whole thing.
That's right.
That's awesome. And her beloved kitchen. But OP has a little bit left. So let's see. I started therapy, which has been healing. I wish I had gone earlier. I have moved into my apartment and was promoted at work. I have also gone on 2 girls trips and have some extra fun these times as I was a single woman.
Oh boy.
Ooh, 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 ooh. And I've also just started seeing someone. He has been very kind. Thank you again for all your kindness. Hope this is an update you were waiting for. And there is a quick comment. Additional Way 1346 says, I'm glad you updated. You're happier. Never introduce the man to your family. Wouldn't put it past your sister to repeat her behavior. Cutting the toxic people in your life brings so much mental freedom. Living a happy single life after divorce is kindness to yourself. Best update so far. And that, my friends, is the end of that story.
Ooh.
And it's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So I'm just so glad for OP.
Me too.
I think you handled things great. You are surviving and thriving, living your life.
I found out my son was cheating, so I ruined his relationship. Oh. I, female 49, broke my son and his girlfriend up. Getting straight to it.
Yeah, break them up.
They had been dating for almost a year and seemed very happy. For some backstory, my son, 19, moved out pretty soon after his biological father passed. By the way, this comes from Throwing Away 6 from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So he told me that he wanted to expand on life because he was nervous that he would waste it away being depressed over the death of someone so important to him. I understood completely and allowed him the space and freedom, but we talked daily and he visited all the time. Yeah, and that's talking about him moving out. After a while of living alone, he moved back. It was around this time that he introduced me to Kaylee, fake name. Me and Kaylee got along immediately. She lacked a mother in her life, and I think she was quick to establish that relationship with me. Off the bat, I noticed that she was extremely paranoid and had extreme trust issues, but she wasn't toxic or manipulative, just anxious about where my son was going after work. She'd ask me, and I'd answer he went to his friend Mike's house, then hang out to play PlayStation with each other. We both genuinely believe that my son was at Mike's house.
Plot twist, he wasn't.
Do we know? And we had no reason to suspect he wasn't. The question is, what's his relationship like with Mike?
Yeah. How close is he to Mike?
What kind of games are they playing?
Twister?
Puller? Bop it? One night, after my son came home to pick up his PS4 to hang out with Mike, Kaylee asked me to pick up some tampons and Tylenol for her.
Your girl's girl. The OP.
She lived close and her periods were always super intense, so I was used to going out late into the night to help her. Oh, so sweet. My son gets out of work at 4 and is usually at home or at Kaylee's place by 5:30 or 6 at latest. It was 6 and he hadn't swung by to drop off his PS4, so I shot him a text before I left the house to let him know why I was gone. It was something like, hey, Kaylee's on her period, so I'm heading out to grab some supplies. You okay? He answered me while I was driving, and I checked it when I got to the store. It was something like, yeah, I'm fine. Mike needed some help building a shelf he bought, so I'm staying a little later.
What kind of shelf?
What kind of building?
Mike stuck in the shelf.
Did the pizza man come?
I sent back some message saying, okay, be safe and all of that motherly stuff. But I was not ready to see Mike working the cash register.
Oh, Mike isn't even home.
How can you build a shelf when you're checking people out at a grocery store?
Oh, yeah, Mike's checking people out, and OP's son is checking people out too. What?
Now, he was smiling at me as soon as I walked in, Mike at the cash register. I hadn't forgotten he worked here, but obviously figured it was his day off. I smiled back, but I immediately felt sick to my stomach. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he means he's building it for Mike while he works. I couldn't even think straight. I just got the tampons, some snacks, and Tylenol for Katie and went to the register. Mike obviously started some small talk with me, paraphrasing because my memory is bad, but it went something like this. Hi, Mrs. OP.
Fry.
Okay. Hi, Mrs. Fry. Hello, Mike. How are you doing? I'm all right. Just getting some supplies for my son's girlfriend. I remember he laughed. Speaking of your son, I haven't seen him in a few weeks. I need him to give me my PS4 controller he borrowed. Can you tell him that?
Wow.
What is he doing with the controller?
Whoa.
Why is he using it? I felt sick again. I did not want to put my son in the spotlight, so I didn't mention the stories my son had been feeding me. I just smiled and said, I'll let him know. I paid for my stuff and left quickly. I drove to Kaylee's house and gave her the supplies, but I didn't know what to say or how to say it. She was smiling and laughing and looking carefree. Oh, dude.
No.
Oh, so
Did
painful.
you even tell her?
She was smiling and laughing and looked carefree. She asked me where my son was. I couldn't lie to her, so I answered honestly, I don't know. I did not know where he was or who he was with. I just told her to call him and ask. She thanked me and I left her house. Later that night, around 8 p.m., my son finally came home. I didn't say much to him, just asked him if he had fun. He said, yeah, and he went to his room. I knew I had to tell Kaylee. Soon after, I went into her room and called her. I informed her of what Mike said, how late that he had gotten home. Late, relatively, because he's always home at like 5:36. So he's like 2 hours later than he. Dude, it's just so hard to. Yeah, when you're just in angelic mode, it's just hard.
Do not be afraid.
Yeah. I come bringing peace and light, the holiest of proteins.
This is pretty wild, though.
Right?
I feel like I'm about to immaculately conceive.
Right? I feel like I'm in a rom-com movie.
You're an angel.
Yeah. This is crazy.
No, you're.
Still kind of weird. Red flag.
So I conceived just threw me off.
Right? I know.
I know, like right?
Gynecologist, conception. What are we talking about over
he's
here?
like the angel, and I said, "Be not afraid." It was a Bible joke.
It's an angel, Mom. I informed her of what Mike had said and how late he had gotten home. She told me that he said he was home hours ago. He was just so tired that he wasn't going to visit. I could tell she was crying, and I asked if she wanted me to come over. I went to her house, and we talked about everything, and she told me she didn't want anything to do with him and wanted to break up with him immediately. I told her she could, and if she wanted, she could be honest and say that I told her. After I comforted her for a few hours, she asked me if she could still contact me even if she wasn't with my...
Trade.
Oh, yeah, right? Trade. Absolute trade. Oh,
I will give you one of my son for Kaylee.
I will give you my poo-poo son for your amazing daughter.
Wow.
Dinky son.
Do you accept trade?
Do you accept trade? Quick question here. Do you tell
The boy?
the girlfriend?
The girlfriend.
Do
I think
you
she
tell
already
the
kind of
girlfriend?
did.
She did, but
Or
I'm
should
asking.
she have? I think
Should
yeah.
she have?
Or maybe
and why
tell
do you say that?
Well, she's really close to the daughter, and
Yes.
also she didn't necessarily say like he's cheating on you. She literally just like The girl, Kaylee, came to her and said, "Where is he?" And she said, "I don't know."
To your credit of your point, she didn't say, "Oh, he's cheating." She was just like,
this is what I know.
The whole thing, like, oh, he said he was with Mike. I went and I saw Mike at the store. Then he came home like 2 hours later. Like she gave gave her the whole like fishy timeline, and
which
she
is
put
not
one and
like
two
saying
together.
cheating, but giving.
I think so.
I think so.
I agree with you.
And I agree with you.
By the way, if you want to see amazing moments like this, join us every weekday at 3 p.m. on YouTube. We're live.
Dude, join us.
Join us. We can talk and everything.
And then we.
Yes. Also, Riley.
What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
And then you can all immaculately.
Sophia can immaculately conceive all of chat.
That makes no sense.
And chat will receive that.
No.
After I comforted her for a few hours, she asked if she could still contact me, even if she wasn't with my son. I said yes. But honestly, I was hesitant about it. I love her, but it feels off to me. I would still help her, though. I can understand the, it's kind of, it's weird. It's weird.
It's like you're calling your mom. You're like, hey, mom, you seem like you've got some, what's the word? Your priorities.
Yeah, where are your priorities?
Where do your loyalties lie,
Where
mother?
are they?
With me, your son, or with her?
Do you not care about a family line?
The blood of the covenant. It's weaker than the womb water.
Water.
Oh my God.
Got him. But let's get back to the story. So, fast forward a few days, and my son comes home crying to me that Kaylee broke up with him and isn't giving him any reason.
Ugh.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean? The reason is that you're cheating.
Well, I guess she didn't tell him that she knew.
She didn't tell him. He knows that she didn't know that he knew.
And if you knew, you knew that they knew.
I, of course, comfort him too. He said that she needed time to think about it and would tell him why when she knows what to say. But for now, she's supposedly speechless.
Ooh.
I was too, so I don't blame her. Cried for hours in his room and in my arms, and regardless of what I did, I comforted him.
Ooh.
Sounds like you're just stirring the pot here.
Pause. I think that OP owes her son the same honesty that she gave Kaylee. I think saying, hey, I gotta let you know. I told her the truth of what I knew about your whereabouts or what I didn't know about your whereabouts. I
disagree.
You don't. Ow.
I disagree. I think Kaylee should explain it because it's like their relationship. Because if you go in there and you explain it, it's like, why is my parent butting into my relationship? That's how I would feel about it.
But she already did it, is the thing.
She already did it with Kaylee, but it's Kaylee's job to now make it happen.
I'm on the fence.
You're on the fence?
I don't know. Only because
Get off the fence. Which side, John?
Only because she's comforting him, which feels just like a little bit.
Yeah, like she's stirring the pot.
I'm almost like tell him and then comfort him if he like actually wants comforting after that.
That's what I'm saying.
Cassandra makes a good point. Talk to me.
Do we even have proof that he cheated?
No.
All we know is that he lied that he was hanging out with Mike.
That's why I feel like she should just be like, hey, I gotta let you know. I let Kaylee know that you weren't where you said you were. And maybe you need to have that conversation with Kaylee and let her know what's going on. Because if you're cheating, that's not cool.
For now, I'm leaning towards Sophia's side, but I'm gonna give myself the full story and update to don't you mew at me, okay? Don't woo me with that. Stop that. Boy. Stop that, you model. Okay, let's get back to the story. So I want to tell him what I know, and I feel bad that he doesn't know. But Kaylee didn't tell him anything yet. So
I know, but he doesn't know that I know that he knows.
That he knows that I know. Right? I know. And I feel bad that he doesn't know. But Kaylee didn't tell him anything yet, so I might wait. Honestly, I just feel stuck. This isn't just about cheating, even though I think he is. This is about, again, we haven't gotten like concrete, conclusive evidence yet that he is cheating. Just to put that out there.
Innocent until proven guilty.
I didn't know we just walked into Russia, but here we are.
That's a Russian voice.
It was giving a...
Oh, that wasn't Russian.
What
just
was
Louisianan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Innocent until proven guilty. It's my Daniel Craig.
Your Knives Out. Oh my God.
I
don't like. Really do you like his southern accent in that?
I love it, dude.
I love that movie.
I love Daniel Craig.
I love the movie.
I don't know if it's good southern accent.
Have you seen him in Lucky Logan? He also has a southern accent there.
It feels very forced to me,
Dude.
in my opinion. See, that was authentic, but I digress.
That's a different area.
I digress.
No, I can't.
It is. But
I have no.
yeah,
skin
he has
in
like
this
occasion. But anyways, okay. So this isn't just about cheating, even though I think he is. This is about trust and how he is lying to me and his girlfriend. So that is the one fact, is that he is lying to both of them of his whereabouts.
Dude, what if he was planning a birthday party?
That would suck so, dude.
And
Which you could be right.
No one communicated to him.
Although he hasn't seen Mike in 4 weeks, and he's been.
It's really extensive.
It's a really big.
It's
he's
really
like
hard.
He's like renting out like the local football arena and like doing a whole build out, and all that stuff.
Freak.
We both know there's a possibility he isn't cheating, but he shouldn't have to lie if he has nothing to hide. And then we have the update from OP. And I better not see one more flying foam
I didn't shoot
bullet.
nothing. I didn't shoot nothing.
You are lying harder than Mike.
This is what I did. Nothing in here. That's what I did.
I didn't even have a gun.
Okay, keep going.
Shut up. On to the update. Undisclosed amount of time later. Update. I wasn't going to make an update for a few days or weeks, but I took some advice from messages I got. I just wanted to clear up a few things first. I give my son space and freedom, but I wanted him to be able to take time from me entirely if he wished. Throughout his teen years, whenever he was upset, he would ask me to leave him alone. I would oblige, but honestly, if he didn't speak to me for more than 3 days, I would ask him if he was okay. After his biological father passed away, I told him he could have a break from talking if he wanted, and I would wait for the okay to contact him. The break only lasted for maybe a week, and he wanted to call me and visit. So for the actual update, Kaylee decided to give him a call. She talked things out with her sister and decided to ask him. Apparently, he was cheating, but told her that it was because she was on her period and very sensitive to everything.
What?
Great.
He had a reason.
He was like, I was
a
cheating for 4 weeks preemptively.
Because you won't stop being on your period.
You were on your period at the beginning of the month, and then the following month you were on your period again. So I just cheated all throughout it.
I kind of just like filled it. I figured, it trickles down here. Yeah. It ramps up here. So I just cheat
throughout
the whole time.
Yeah, because it's your fault because you were on your period.
Teenager logic right here.
And it's funny because like my girlfriend, she doesn't have a period.
If you just talk to the lady with the doctor parts.
Yeah.
Just tell them to stop that.
Yeah, I talked to your gynecologist and she said you don't actually have to have your period and it's your choice. And so it's your fault.
Uterus? I
What
want it to
about
be uterus. Woo! We're on fire. Okay, anyways. So, apparently she's cheating, but told her it's because she was on her period and very sensitive to everything. He said he had done it 3 other times, all while she is on her period.
Oh my God.
I am detecting a pattern here.
This man tracks her cycle.
My God. She called me and told me before my son told me. But in his defense, let's see this. He was busy explaining things to his girlfriend and now Mike, who he accidentally wrapped into this.
In his defense.
What is that? How does that add to his
defense?
I don't.
Okay.
May the jury hear that in his defense, he roped his girlfriend
his boy girlfriend into the rope, bro.
And his boy Mike into this.
That to me is like saying, in his defense, yesterday evening, he called his cousin and told him about a new video game.
Yeah.
In his defense,
so he couldn't have been cheating.
But I don't know this. I don't see what correlation any of this has. It's only 12 in the afternoon, and he wants to tell me in detail after work, to which I told him was okay. He told me that he was sorry for lying, and I told him it was okay, but it hurt my feelings. I didn't mention this in the post or to hurt him, but his bio dad cheated on me, and this is why we are apart.
Oof.
Oh, did you know that cheating it goes down to your offspring? Genetic.
Really?
Yep.
There's like a higher chance?
Yep.
Yeah,
Damn.
It's like generational trauma, low key.
Damn.
High key. He cheated on me before I was pregnant with my son and for the first year of our marriage. I did not want my son to think that was okay. I talked to Kaylee and she is just head over heels for my son and said if he promises not to do it again, she would stay with him.
As long as you don't have a period, I will never do it again.
Just stop that. Stop.
Stop doing it.
Stop being so sensitive.
Josephine Middlebrooke says she means that she understood why girlfriend got to her first before her son because he was busy talking to Mike.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
I understand now. Thank you very much.
Also, crap, I don't want to lose the thing that I just had in my mind. Oh, yeah. I feel like Mike's like, I have an idea of how you can not be on your period anymore. Right?
No.
Yep. I haven't told him this because it's not my business. They can talk about it. My son has sent me a few messages since about work. Yep. She gets it. But he seems extremely sorry. I'm a bit disappointed in him, but I think it's because of what I went through and how hard being a single mother was after the man you thought you loved just left. Kaylee said that she would try to be a more attentive girlfriend, which honestly sucks to hear because this is not her fault, which is a fact.
It's not Kaylee's fault.
Boom.
Justice for Kaylee.
Justice for Kaylee. I am not going to dictate the relationship and tell her to find someone else, but it does but it does shock me that she can forgive him. As much as I want to be mad at my son, I really can't.
You can.
I've never gotten mad at him before, and I think the situation just brought me back to everything that happened when he was little. I hope my son can learn from this. Tonight, when we talk, I'm going to be a little strict on him, obviously, but again, he is an adult. If he says that he's going to cheat on her, I cannot stop him. My God, if he says that outright, that's crazy.
Premeditated?
Come on. I really, really hope he learns. That is the end of the story. But
so unsatisfying.
Very unsatisfying.
So unsatisfying.
I feel like there's a lot to talk about here, Sophia.
There's so much to talk about.
I don't know about you.
You cheated on her because she was on her period.
Crazy. Obvious.
Obviously. Did you just say that?
I said, it is obvious.
Oh, obvious.
Yeah.
Like,
You mean like, of course you should cheat while he's on a period. No.
If you don't want to deal with periods, you have 3 options.
Talk to me.
Pregnancy. Don't date cis women.
Yep.
I don't have a third option.
That's okay. Because those are...
Yeah. Stop dating.
Don't do it.
Those are your 3 options.
That's right. Abstinence. Big guy.
Shout out to
you. Exactly. Immaculate conception. Talk to me.
Talk that talk.
About what you think about how the mom is dealing with the son. Like,
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. How would you approach the son?
She's pretty forgiving. Not like, oh, this is an a-hole.
Like, oh, I can't really stop him. But what? I don't know if I would want to like.
Just like his dad.
I don't know if I would want to have a. I don't know.
Yeah. I think.
Like.
I think that she should, and I can't remember if she already did, basically, but I think that she should say, what? Kimberly Fine, get him a rubber band clock ring. He can wear it when the little guy gets too riled up. Oh my goodness, Kimberly Fine. My goodness. I feel like she should say to him, hey, this is bringing up a lot of memories of what your dad did to me.
Yeah, and I am really disappointed in you.
Really disappointed. And I feel like hopefully that should really communicate to him how much he has effed up and how much he needs to learn this lesson, because he's not only, hurting Kaylee, he's also hurting his mom.
Yeah.
And he probably doesn't realize it.
And being like,
honest.
If I found out you ever cheat on Kaylee, and I'm telling her right away.
Yes.
I will not hide your secrets for you.
Yes. I think that although I honestly can understand how, like, going to your child, they're still like, 19 or whatever. I think that's what she should do, but I can understand that it is probably a hard thing to do, because like this is my kid, is my baby. Like,
you don't want to necessarily like stop seeing them. But
not at all. But I think it's one of those, like, I think glass breaking moments of like, oh, not only like is my child an adult and like all of this says that my child has grown up, but my child has grown into an adult who can do these super hurtful things like his father did. And that is I think that's a very painful thing, and probably makes it very hard. I could see it could be like hard and emotional for OP to communicate that stuff. In all fairness, just wanted to put that out there, but I agree with you. I think she should just communicate how it hurts her, how it's not acceptable, and she won't hide a secret.
And some of the comments that I'm reading here, recent comments, is she's going to be discussing therapy with her son, and I think they're in therapy. This happened a year ago, by the way.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
Very good. And honestly, like,
I don't know. In a lot of the stories, I mean, I think a lot of the stories, they are like older living out of the house when they talk about the cheating, but
yeah, but in this, it's
she's like very intimately involved in the situation in a good way, because I feel like that improves his chances of actually learning his lesson and
not doing
it again to hurt Kaylee, to hurt the mom.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Sophia?
Not a one.
Me either. Just a big empty tank of fluff up there.
A big cloud.
A big cloud. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all. So with that said, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you. And
see you tomorrow! For real this time. Bye, members.